Welcome to the Puff Drink Talk podcast. This is another episode with some great friends. Again, smoking some great cigars and pipes, sipping on some great drinks, and discussing some news topics and things that have happened this past week, along with our football picks of me catching up or falling behind. I don't know, probably falling behind. Probably falling behind some more. I remember my picks, yeah. I kind of screwed it up. But anyways, again, Puff Drink Talk Podcast. I'm Konrad Schubach.
I'm Dylan Wilson.
I'm Hilton Kill.
And I'm George in our first episode this year, guys.
Hey.
Let's
2024, gentlemen.
Let's toast to that. Yes.
2024.
Yes.
Right here.
Passion fruit, guys. Passion fruit.
We need that passion.
Well, this is also a passion, and it's kind of a fruit.
Yeah,
Yes.
there you go. There you
No
go.
one said it's the spirited drinks. Everybody said
I see what you
it
said
says they're drink, right?
Yeah,
Right.
drink. So you can
Drink.
either drink or whatever you want to drink.
Exactly.
Well, before we hop into the topics, why don't we go over what we're smoking today? Do a kind of a quick introduction to show the cigars.
Well, I'm gonna be smoking this La Roma de Cuba, which is the original blend, and it's been aged for quite a long time, and so probably about, I would say 5 years. Or so. How long do you think to get to this stage?
It's a good guess. 5 years, yeah. Who knows?
I don't know if the camera can pick it up.
See if I can shine some light.
Oh, my bad. I have my phone right here. I'm being a little asshole.
Not really.
Oh,
A
you
little
can see,
bit, right?
all these white dots. What do they call it, Dylan?
Plume.
Plume. So if you try to wipe it, it doesn't come off. It's plume. It's not mold. So, and that's the case on this cigar.
Yes. It's pockets of oil that have solidified.
Very quickly, this one, right?
Yeah.
This one is Plasencia Alma del Fuego. Right? And I just want to read the last sentence here from one of the reviews for you guys to understand what is this supposed to be.
Tell us.
Born from the sun and volcanoes and awaiting the flame of your lighter to burn it down to the nub. So it's supposed to be super earthy, volcanic. I've never seen a description of a cigar being called a volcanic. So
Is that
I
going to be
would say-
spicy? Is that going
Yes,
to
to
be
be-
ashy?
yes,
What-
ashy for sure.
What
Right?
is it going to
Oh,
be?
hold on.
Spicy.
Volcanic. It should be hot, not earthy. Well, as well.
Well, that's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
yeah.
That's it's a broad adjective. What is it
It
going to
is,
be?
yeah. Well, it says spicy, earthy. So, and right away, it's very sweet though. Right? It's very sweet. You guys tried it, right?
So
Great smell.
Yeah. So I'm excited. Plasencia. Alma del Fuego.
I'm on fire.
I will be smoking my pipe again with my special blend. Last podcast, I had a little bit too much to drink of that whiskey right from the beginning, so
Did you?
he wants to correct himself on how to light it.
Give
and
me a
whatnot.
second. Give me a second chance.
Ah.
So, again, pipe packing of the tobacco is not an exact science, but at the same time, there are some ways of doing it. The way that I mentioned it last week was the first pinch, pack it in there at the bottom, nice and tight, which is the exact opposite of what you want to do. You want to be nice, loosey, and goosey so that you can puff in like there's no, like it's just sucking out of a straw. It's a super smooth draw. So first pinch, just a nice little tap. Second one, packing a little bit more. The top one, you're definitely going to be packing it in there a little bit tighter to get that top to burn down to the bottom, get that smoke going through. So correction to what I said last week. And when I did do this other day that I was smoking, it lasted a lot longer and tasted really good. So, but yes, so I'll be smoking my pipe today.
What tobacco's in there? Is that specialty blend?
Yeah,
again?
it's still that specialty blend. I'm gonna finish the specialty blend and then go back and I really like the hint of vanilla in this. I'm gonna
Hint of
try.
vanilla?
It's got a vanilla flavor to it. So
Do you typically like sweeter stuff or
yeah, I mean this one I'm really enjoying. I might.
like Virginia Red?
I'm thinking that I'm going to broaden my horizons and maybe get a little something darker. There's a rum flavored maybe not even get into flavored, but get into a
Well, rum flavor is not bad.
no. Well, but I'm saying I meant like
Good.
Probably be
probably
good.
probably good, but something a little bit more natural instead
If you
of
go,
artificially flavored.
yeah, if you go like a matured kind of tobacco, like this being a little bit aged or something,
Yes.
you get some sugars from it, so it gets like a natural sweetness.
Yes.
you
Which
know,
would be like
out of it.
the Virginia red.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yellow is a little more less. It's less sweet.
Right. It's not
And
aged.
then if you want to get to like the burley, I think is like super bold but not sweet at all. Like really tobacco. And a lot of people blend it.
I was gonna say, well, and that's this. This has that blend of both burley and kind of like a sweetness to it. So, but yeah, so that's what I'm gonna be smoking today. And,
Sound
That's
good?
interesting. I could get behind that.
yeah, it's fun. It's a
I'm
specialty.
excited. I'm gonna buy one someday.
I'll go with you.
Yeah.
We'll go get some
Oh, that would
pipes.
be great. That would be great.
Fun to smoke.
Don't start, George, because then it means that me and Dylan gonna go and buy.
I'm a bad influence on everyone.
Don't get us started on it.
I know.
Can't.
I started with tea now, man.
I need one less hobby, not one more.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Truly.
But you know what is the most important characteristics of a hobby?
Pleasure.
Expensive. If it's not expensive, it's not a hobby. It's got to be something else. It's got to be expensive. You know, like what's your hobby? No. If that's $3 a month, then I'm sorry. This is not a hobby. This is something else. A hobby it's expensive. You know, so
You got to get an old car and fix it up. It's been in the garage for 5 years.
exactly. You said it.
Yeah.
Homeless people are not allowed to have hobbies.
Exactly.
Get a fucking job first.
But it's not like I think it's expensive.
You
also,
want a hobby? Get a job.
Yeah.
There's your hobby.
We don't endorse that, but it's related percentage of your income. Okay, so this is what expensive is, right?
I like the clarification at least. That's important.
It is, right?
Very chocolatey and it's smooth. It's like you almost don't feel the smoke in your mouth.
Interesting.
Very nice.
The draw is amazing, and look at the line. Very thin line. Very
Man,
white.
almost feels like it's
You
been
know?
flavored.
Really?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Really?
So I'm starting at 115.
That's where we're starting.
How is yours? Because we've been aging that one for probably getting close to a year.
Yeah, it's not too different from what it was before. Just still really good. But I don't
Really
notice
good
any.
stick, but
Yeah, I don't notice anything different about it.
different than that.
Not yet, at least.
Okay, so what are the topics?
Well, so the topics for this week, we were discussing about all of the interesting things that have been happening in Japan. My goodness.
What a start to 2024.
Yeah. Those poor...
You see that I posted about that? Like, I think you saw it. It was Daenerys from Game of Thrones smoking a cigar. And then 2021, oh, that's going to be a good year. 22, that's going to be a great
Oh,
year.
yeah, yeah.
Now, 2023, no. Then it's like 2024 is going to
24.
be a better year. So that's Daenerys. If
Yeah.
if anyone is familiar with Game of Thrones, right?
Yep.
So the Mad Queen, right? The Mad Queen smoking a cigar, saying yes, it's gonna take only 3 days to the world to go shreds, right? So,
Well, and what's so... I mean, there. I guess there's a bad story and a somewhat bad story that ended up actually not being too bad. But the first one was that they had a pretty significant earthquake in Japan. There was some tsunami warnings for Hawaii and California, or people on the West Coast, because of the aftershock. Produces
Japan,
tsunami.
Korea, China, probably.
A lot of those places.
Taiwan.
The effects of it, are widespread, which is so. I love geology. I love how something that happens in
Like rocks?
Japan. Did I say geology? Geography.
Well, it could be.
Yeah.
In
I
this,
like
love-
geology too.
in
Yeah, I
this
like
case,
geology too.
there is a strong connection, right?
Yeah.
Right?
It is rocks moving, the tectonic plates,
Yeah.
which causes that shift. Which
The study of geographics is geology.
Yeah.
Logi, right? Logi is steady, so
It's a little bit of
Definitely.
both. They're best
Yeah.
friends.
exactly.
Geology and geography.
Yeah, they're buds.
Yeah.
They smoke together.
So, but what happened? I'm curious to see because I don't watch any news. So.
Yeah, so what happened was it was a very significant earthquake.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then.
Uh,
Do you know what scale was it?
It's got like a lot of
6
damage
point
and
something.
stuff.
6 point something. Is that supposed to be strong in Japan? Because it depends on how
Definitely
populous
not
is.
the
Okay.
worst,
Normally they
but
are
it was
very well
moderate.
prepared for that.
yes. Where it hit the heaviest was smaller towns outside of Tokyo.
Tokyo.
And of course, you got to remember, mainland Japan is an island itself, but then there's various little islands around it. So it's not nothing affected Tokyo or mainland Japan as much as the outside and smaller islands were really affected, smaller towns. But so you were saying, I read somewhere where they were, so on the Richter scale that measures the shifting of the mag, I thought it was a 7.2 or 7.3.
Might be.
Do you want to pull it out?
It
Oh, I
was
have it. 7.5.
I have it.
7.5, which is a massive. Has anyone experienced an earthquake before?
I have, but it was-
never.
I have a very, very small up in the north of Brazil, northeast of Brazil. It's almost like north and northeast. But it's looking at it, it's north.
Right.
But the region, they call it northeast. But, you know.
Nordest.
Yeah. So, and then they had like a 3.2, and then the building was like that. And I was on the phone, and then it was a landline that has a cord, right? So it has been a little while. Let's put it that way.
Dylan has no idea what the hell you're talking about.
No, he might. But yeah, it was in the early 90s. And then the cord was like, started waving like that. Like, you know, like, I'm not moving. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Nothing's moving. What the fuck? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I felt it, and then I felt my body a little bit. But it was just like a tiny little thing. It
Yeah. Wasn't anything too significant.
Yeah.
Have you experienced it, Dylan?
A small one in Alaska. And it wasn't
okay.
anything too significant either.
Yeah. Yeah, we experienced it with Camila in California. It was a 5 point something, but it was an aftershock from an earthquake up north. And it felt like what was scary about it was the fact of it was like a sudden movement, and we were living in an apartment, and you know when someone's like bouncing or jumping and making a loud noise, you're like, oh, what the hell?
Yeah.
And we were kind of
Thinking it was like a neighbor or something.
yeah, we were thinking it was a neighbor, but then the whole apartment started moving, like our TV were moving. We're like,
Well, if it is
Oh,
like that,
shit.
I experience that like every single day.
okay, all right.
You know
Yeah.
my daughters, right?
Oh yeah. No, and I mean, yeah, no. You know my kids too. We have we have
Light fixtures
Yeah.
falling out of the ceiling.
Yeah.
It's rough.
yeah. So
I've
but-
been to Argentinians stadiums. Have you heard about how much it moves up and
Oh,
down?
Yes.
It's São Paulo, the
that's the
water beat.
closest. That's
Yeah.
the closest I've been to to an earthquake. But it's really scary because you can see, the benches like moving.
Yeah.
Like you can see the whole. I mean, I'm talking about a row of 100 seats.
Yeah.
And you can see it moving.
Oh, that's got to be the
In
scariest thing.
Morumbi, São Paulo, the top. I was on the top on a YouTube concert, and the technician guy that was there, because there were like a lot of people working for the stadium, right? And then it's like, why is it moving this much? Because everybody was jumping, and I was just like wanting to watch, right? But I was almost jumping because I was like, getting
You felt the
almost
movement.
dizzy. And he said that was about 1.2 meters, so it's like 4 feet movement.
So 4 feet movement.
From
You
the
see-
top to the down, from top down, like movement like that.
like that, right?
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, that's insane.
Anyway, so that was the closest I've seen it.
But that's how they.
But that's
stay
still an experience where
And
you,
they're
I
built
mean,
so it's
it makes
standing
you
up
nervous.
for
I mean, to
Yes.
feel that, you're like, whoa. But I mean, unfortunately, there were some lives lost in Japan because of this. They're still recovering bodies. They're still trying to find people.
Let's not show anything too crazy, please. 'Cause I
Just
don't-
to tell you, he said 5.5. You said 6.5, 7.5 there, and now our Rocker News here is saying 7.6.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going off of memory.
No, but I'm just saying. You know what I'm
It
saying?
was a
Like,
0.5.
but you know what I'm saying? Like,
Look at that.
yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Before and after.
Wow, man.
It's crazy.
So what's before and what is after?
Yeah.
This is after. This is before. Before.
Look at the trees. You can see the
Okay.
trees.
Well,
And
and look here. This all gets destroyed. So
Nice.
that debris
Yeah.
all through here.
Oh, that's rough.
But Japan, like you were saying, Hilton, Japan is prepared for this. They're constantly getting hit with earthquakes.
Yeah.
A lot of the, yeah. So, I mean, it is still sad to see and devastating to experience. But you know, most houses, most structure, most infrastructure there is prepared for such, you know, such activities.
it says it triggered its largest tsunami warning since 2011. Remember the 2011 one?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was.
This
Do you remember the one that the tsunami forward?
Exactly what I was
Fukushima.
thinking about.
How much
this
is
data.
Fukushima or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh? Well, I'm sorry.
1.2 meters, which is about, it's 4 feet. It's not, if it's 1.2, 2 meters is 4 feet, and that
Yeah.
says 3.9 feet. But it's 4. And
It's the height of the
1.2.
waves.
Yeah. Which is
And
crazy.
in 2011 was 9 in the scale earthquake.
9.
9 in 2011.
Wow.
On the Richter. Yeah, that's huge.
Look at that. 6.5 did that. I wouldn't want to see a 9.
Yeah.
That's
Go back and look
unbelievable.
at the pictures from 2011.
48 have been confirmed that most from collapsing buildings.
Yeah.
All right.
The earthquake of early 1900s, 1910, 1912 in San Francisco was devastating. That completely destroyed the city of San Francisco. Like, that was a big one too. But I mean, all around what they call the Ring of Fire. I mean, this is typical activities of California, Hawaii, Japan. So it's to be expected. This is the region where that is the region where those tectonic plates are, shifting, moving, slipping, and causing earthquakes.
Is that what Johnny Cash was singing about?
100%. That's exactly what he was singing about. Jesus Christ. So, but anyway, so that was a tragic news. The other news that affected Japan was that they had one of their Airbus airplanes catch on fire as it landed. They had a malfunction, or there was the warning lights were broken, and it caught on fire. This is an interesting story because everyone was so well prepared to exit the airplane and evacuate that nobody died. Everyone lived on the airplane. Over 300 and something passengers and crew
With that
members.
fire there?
Oh yeah.
Where did
Well, I mean,
get out from?
Well, they first
They
probably
got
got
out
out
before
before
they
the
got
fire.
out.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I missed the.
No, yeah, it wasn't like on fire mid-flight and then they crash landed. They
No,
landed.
I thought they had landed and then the fire started, and even though the fire started, they were able to get out.
Yes. So they were able to get out. So there was no lives lost from
Wow.
the plane in the
Wow.
crew, which was really
Here we
amazing.
go. So because the warning lights were out, it wasn't clear if it was clear to land, and it collided with a Coast Guard aircraft.
Now, unfortunately, the Coast Guard aircraft, 5 people died from that.
That's terrible.
So,
Because
but-
it's smaller.
yeah,
aircraft.
it's a smaller aircraft, but the Airbus or I think they call them Airbuses, where they're just so big they carry so many people. All 367 passengers and 12 crew members
And 8 infants.
were alive. Were able to
8 babies.
safely,
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
and 8 babies were safely able to exit. So close to 400 people, that's pretty amazing. Honestly.
That could have been a disaster in if we were in Japan.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if we weren't in a country that people are not prepared for that.
Right. But that's what and I was going to say.
Well, the thing is, that's not Japan itself. It's pretty much, I mean, they crash because they're not prepared for something. But at least, the training of the people that work in an aircraft.
Which airline is it?
Japan.
Japanese. That's what I'm saying.
Japan Airlines. Yeah, but I mean, pretty
That's what I'm
much
saying.
the training is pretty much should be, on any other,
Yeah, but
like on a Brazilian airline.
But this is like air conditioning. You if you want quality, you buy a Fujitsu. You know what I'm saying? Like cars. Which was the most sold car in the United States?
Toyota.
Oh, where is it from?
Japan.
Oh no, seriously.
And America.
And America.
I would say
America, yes, Lexus.
Rest of the world, but China or India,
Nah,
because in India it's Tata, and China is like a Chinese company, but the rest of the world is Toyota, probably.
Yeah. But I think what George is trying to get at the same time is that the Japanese have this, not even quality, but they have this
Good smell coming.
they have this aspect of respect and knowledge where it's like, if a situation, I mean, how many times have we gotten onto an airplane here in the United States or in Brazil or wherever, and they're like, for safety you do this, and you're just like, yeah, all right, cool, I'm just going to look at my phone. You have no idea what the hell you're supposed to do, and then if the plane crashes, you're like jumping over people to get out. I'm sure they were all organized, and they all hopped off of the plane on their designated exits and safely exited the airplane.
I don't think, because we've heard that so many times that we know when things like that would happen, everybody would get organized.
I mean, I would love to think that, but I don't think. people
Maybe,
get
I mean, in an aircraft, maybe 10% is like a first-time flyer. Everybody else is a freaking flyer. They know
But-
that you have to follow
I
Just
don't think it's about knowing the. I feel like a
follow the
lot
instructions.
of panic would ensue.
I would just say that they are not first flyers. However, they would be probably the first time they would be in that situation. If they had trained for that situation for some reason, then I think you're right. I think they would be able to know what to do.
Right.
But no one has ever been, almost no one has ever been in a situation like that. So I'm not sure. I'm
No,
not
but
sure if people will be able to.
Every airliner, they perform those practices.
Yeah.
In situations like that.
You
It's-
mean
The
crew?
the crew.
Uh-huh.
But the passengers never, even though the people inside of that aircraft over there, they never been to a situation like that.
Dylan, have you ever been punched in the face?
Yeah.
Yes. Do you remember the situation?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember, was it bad?
No.
No. Okay. Because I was just asking if you ever been punched, if you ever been in pain, like extreme pain.
Yes. That's bad.
Do
yeah.
you think straight?
No. That's what my adrenaline and things.
Do you think straight?
You wouldn't think straight. No.
There's another thing.
But the crew would help.
Yeah. So the other thing, have you ever seen that those reporters go interview the players as soon as the games stop? So there was this. I think it's Charles Barkley. And Charles Barkley says "Man, you make me sound so dumb. Like why? Because man, I can't breathe, and you're asking me all this questions." And he was just giving the basics because he couldn't even think.
Right.
So I think under strange circumstances, such as pain, such as adrenaline, as you said, or tired, or hungry, all these conditions, I think it's really hard to think straight. You got to be really well trained, like you guys, like that.
But I don't know if it's
I
a training.
don't think the Japanese would be better than us in being in a situation like that.
Well,
Okay.
and
To follow
that-
the rules. That's
and-
what I'm saying.
But I think the thing is,
I don't know if they would or wouldn't.
so the only
Just
argument.
because they're Japanese.
Well, and so my only argument is that, have you ever seen those videos of the Japanese on trains where everyone's
Drillings. Have you seen the drillings too?
No,
No. Okay, go
not
ahead.
the drillings. But where you're on a train, everyone's super respectful,
train.
quiet,
I have seen that,
and
actually.
super respect. That's my thing. Is
They
that
actually have cars that are just for women and just for men because women get touched and they're very polite on trains in Japan.
right? So that's what I almost think. I'm equating it to the respect for the other person instead of the chaos that ensues is how that played out. Was the Japanese
Yes.
have that respect? No, you go first. Okay,
Yes.
you're older. You're whatever
trained
their
for
respect. It's part of their culture to show
Culture,
that
yeah.
respect of like respectfully. The way that we need to exit out of here is in a single file line, like we've been trained. So I think it's a respect thing. Of
What I meant
that is my
Yes.
my
What I meant is the drills. They have it in the buildings,
Yeah.
like very often, and they know exactly what to do in schools. Like all the schools and all the
That
companies,
could-
they do it. I don't know, twice a month. How many drills have you been involved with?
Many times.
Well,
Yes, and you for sure. But
In school,
yeah.
many.
Okay, but that's
My son-
America.
I've done drills
Yeah,
in
America.
Brazil
America.
more times than in UK when I lived in UK. Because I used to live in a building on
We do
Avenida
it twice a
Paulista,
month, though. But we would do it
and we would
twice
have
a semester.
to do the
Yeah.
drills
Times a semester.
every so often.
Yes.
I don't remember how often, but and then everybody would be the same thing. The alarm would go off, and then we have to do the drill.
I feel like a real event that would force you to use some of that drilling and training might have you respect the drilling a little bit more.
Yes.
Because me being someone that had to do that a lot sucks. No one likes doing it. You're in the middle of the drill and you're like, same when you're on the aircraft. Every time I get on a plane, they start headphones go in. I'm not listening to that shit. I don't feel like I need to be told. I know when it happens. I'm not going to be... I remember at 2:30 when we took off, she said, do this. I'm not going to think about that anyways. So I'm not listening.
But how many
But you would respect
douchebags?
But you're
After
gonna be
going
following
through
the instructions. The instructions.
How
are
about the
gonna be-
douchebags?
I'm one of them.
because they don't have respect.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Is
But-
That's Dylan.
You just
but
run over anyone in front of you.
You got to remember there's 4 exit doors.
Yes.
So everybody in the front
There's
isn't...
more.
okay, well,
There's more.
that's
And
better.
fat people
no
can't
one's
run as
I'm
fast
not
as you,
trampling
so
over
you
the
just-
person in row 2 to get out the
Exactly.
door I came in. You know, if I'm
I
sitting
would
in the
pick up
middle of the
2
plane, it
elderlies
might even
here.
be behind
Yeah.
me.
Would run, hey,
You know?
going through with
Yeah.
the 2
Yeah, I
elderlies.
mean, you're
Yeah.
gonna go to the nearest door. And,
Exactly.
And every single time that you sit by the door, they go like, that's how you operate the door and whatnot. And then are you capable to do so? And if there's a skinny person there, they change that person.
No, they before the flight takes off, they ask
Yes.
you when you sit at those doors, are you going to be able to facilitate blah blah? If not,
I
please
always
ask
pay
to
extra
move.
to seat
In
in
that
the
seat?
wing. Yes, I always pay extra. So
You have the
they sit in front of
responsibility.
you. They stay. So yeah, I would say I didn't want to contradict you, but I am the one who reads it because I always see
No.
it on the wings.
I-
and that's
don't.
fine. No, that's not contradicting
Yes.
me at all. But I mean, that's a respect thing. I
That's
just
a
feel,
good thing that
That
you
is
do.
a good thing. Yeah, no, absolutely. I just feel like the respect
Not a bad
factor is a little bit. A respect thing is a more culturally ingrained
in Japan.
in Japan than it is elsewhere.
that was my take.
And I think all of us would have that respect too as
Yes.
well. I'm not saying anything negative about anyone here, but I just feel like total wise.
Yeah,
But it's empiric, right? So
Well,
empirically
I implore
speaking,
you to.
What about the Karens
I
in the
wouldn't-
world?
To answer your question, though, I wouldn't just run someone over
Yeah, of course.
unwarranted. But if I was trying to go and some Karen or somebody was in front of me, like, you need to wait your turn, well, I would tell her to her face to shut the fuck up. If we're in a high stress situation, the plane's going down, and someone that's not staff is yelling at me, go fuck yourself. I don't care.
yeah.
I'm not gonna shove you. I'm not gonna. But if you, why do I care?
Yes, exactly.
But maybe Japanese people would probably feel more polite, and I will let them leave. That's not me. But
Yeah.
I do not fly very often, so
I used to fly a lot.
I don't
I
have
fly
lots of
less now.
opportunities
Yeah.
to run people over. So maybe given more opportunity, I would do it. I don't know.
I'll tell you, man. I don't know. Right now, on this podcast, I would say that would be very rational, and I would follow the instructions. I would do exactly what I have to do. I would calm people down, but I'm not sure if my mother is there, my wife is there, if my behavior would be the same.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, I'd like to think it would be that, but then
I-
when it comes down to it, who knows?
I'm not sure. I'm sure my mom wouldn't know what to do.
And you're gonna act in
Like these
Whatever
days,
helps you out the best in your
Yeah,
family.
we put it probably hold her. She's like 60 kilos or 130 pounds. So I'll probably hold her. Man, mom, just you're gonna get hurt because you're gonna start hitting people. But put your bag in front of you, and I would just go, mom, because there's no way you're
bags.
gonna survive.
you leave
No,
everything behind.
I know, but I would put it something on my mom in front of her. I would grab her, and then she would be hitting people. I'm
just
just
a
saying.
battering ram.
Yeah, exactly. That's bad. That's. I'm not
It's
saying.
like the zombie apocalypse.
Exactly.
George is
I'm
just
sorry,
running
but-
through with just his mom.
If you're coming back from the UK or Brazil or something and the plane goes, I know you got to leave your bag, but you got to grab that case of Cuban cigars.
That's not what I would
yeah.
do. That's not what I would do. I'm saying
Oh,
that
any cigars?
You have to grab that
I
case
can
of
go
Cubans.
irrational just like anyone.
Yeah.
You can't get them anywhere
I'm just
else.
saying
Yeah,
what people
no, you can get anywhere in
maybe
the world, but here.
thinking
here,
and not
yeah.
saying.
That's
But
true.
yes, I would say okay. So the
Which means you can't get it anywhere.
No, the Cuban cigars will be, I'll buy a vest and then
Strap it in?
Yeah,
You're going to get all soaked in the water.
yeah.
Guys, I
Have to dry them out.
you know like when
let it be.
Humidity.
you know
dry.
so many useless knowledge. You have your useless knowledge,
Yeah.
and I forgot to use one of my useless. It's probably going to be the only time in my life I'll be able to talk about a disaster like an earthquake. And I remember I was reading Voltaire, one of my favorite books, so I recommend you guys read it. It's Candide, right? So he describes, he was in Lisbon. It was supposed to be the heaviest, again, I'm not, this is not the truth, it's just like what I heard, right? The heaviest earthquake, the heaviest
Do your
earthquake-
own fact check.
Yes, yeah, exactly. The heaviest earthquake in Europe, in Lisbon. So he was there, and he was very touched about that. And he wrote a poem, I don't know, it's Lisbon disaster poem, and then it was shocking. It was in the 1800s, 1770 something, 75. I can't remember, but I recommend the book. And he spent part of like a chapter of the book describing how he felt. So it was a great description in his poem and also in prose, right? So he describes an earthquake. So I would definitely, man, I thought I would never speak about that. I read this book 3 times. So Candid, that's the book I recommend.
Interesting.
Do you want to talk more about the book?
Yeah, no. Well, man, it's fun. You would love it.
Maybe after football season we can do a book
Oh
club.
man, this book, you laugh from the beginning to the end because it's a parody.
Okay.
It's a parody, okay? So the whole thing is like the main character, I won't spoil, but the main character, it's a pun up, right? He says like, oh, we live in the best of worlds, everything is perfect, and he is proved wrong in everywhere he goes. This guy goes from Westphalia's, I don't know which position he was, to almost be killed 10 times during the book, and he still think, oh, we still live in the best of the world. So it's a philosophical book, so I would definitely recommend this one.
Huh,
Candid,
interesting.
Voltaire.
Link it in our group chat. I'll get it. I can get all of us free audiobooks probably.
Voltaire for sure, it's 1775, I think, or something.
Comment in the link or comment in the description of this video if you've read the book.
Yeah,
Share your
please.
thoughts.
And subscribe, like the video as well, because that helps us with the algorithm and the numbers.
Hit that notification bell.
And hit that notification bell.
Mm.
And give us a comment.
Yeah. Be candid about your comments.
Exactly.
No, it helps a lot with the algorithm. It kind of pushes the video when you get more likes and more comments for more people to view it. So it helps us
Absolutely.
create more stuff.
So what else do we have?
And it's free.
What else do we have?
Well, I mean, we have lots of topics we can discuss.
I saw that you sent like 4.
Yeah, the dinosaur one that was just more of an interesting.
What was
little
I
that?
think
tidbit.
we gotta get back into the dinosaur, man. One day.
Oh,
like,
really? Yeah. Let's save that one. Let's save that one for another day. We'll
Right.
we'll bring that for another day.
Yeah, right? Do you know
Jurassic Park.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Honestly. Sorry to our headphone
And then you put the
user.
head. You remember? You put the head. The guy flips the woman's head to the direction.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, look at this bone! No, look at this shit!
Like,
No, no,
grabs
no,
her
no!"
head.
Just-
Yeah.
She goes,
And then she's like, she gapes it right, like,
big gaping mouth.
yeah.
Well, let's get into that another day because I've got a lot of Jurassic Park and dinosaurs.
Dinosaur.
I love dinosaurs as a kid, man, and even today.
I like
nowadays.
the Nano Tyrannus.
Yeah,
That's cool.
It is kind of cool.
Yeah, I liked only the first movie. I don't like
Yes.
the other movies.
Let's do one full on dinosaurs.
Yes.
Yes,
You know,
yes,
all the
let's do it.
discoveries where they're mostly located.
What's
and
your
the types
favorite
and
kind
all
of
the-
dinosaur?
Shit, even in our backyard right here in Texas, there's lots of dinosaurs around here.
Yeah.
There's lots of dinosaur
That's why you
fossils.
moved house?
Oh, yeah.
You found a dinosaur bone in your backyard?
I found an oil field in my backyard, yeah. Secretly.
He didn't sell it.
Yeah.
And I think
That's why he's
Insect-
still,
it's
he's
like
still
going
here
on the way.
recording a podcast.
Yeah.
He forgot to sell it.
Yeah. Damn it.
Do they know anything about insects from that period? Because we only talk about dinosaurs, right? But how about insects?
Well, I don't know a lot about the insects, but I know that that's how Jurassic Park was. The whole story was formed.
Yes, remember that? Yeah.
Very scientific.
Damn it.
So, as the story goes, a
Yeah,
mosquito.
They found a mosquito
Na, na,
that
na,
still had
na,
blood.
na, na, na.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was trapped and
That's
preserved
right.
in amber.
Exactly,
And it
remember
still
that.
had the blood
Yes.
from the dinosaur, and they used that genetics to
Wow.
mutate and
The
duplicate.
Frogs are
suspension
asexual.
of disbelief, man. That's why, right? So suspension of disbelief, that's the name for that.
Yeah.
Just embrace it, love it, just like the cars from The Walking Dead 10 years later and the gasoline works, right? How about that?
It's actually kind of nice, neat. No, there's something in our water apparently that's making the frogs become like trans or something.
Oh, that's been going. That's a study that's been happening in California for a while.
No, it's
Well,
a real
this
thing.
is the nature of the frog itself. They form their and based on the needs, afterwards.
Sex organs and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Sex organs and whatnot. Yep.
Because of the chemicals and stuff that's in the water, they're changing.
Uh-huh.
Hermaphrodite, they're having like both parts.
There was, I remember in.
It's very sustained by them if they can still procreate. So.
Well, they're
Yeah.
fast evolvers.
We're doing better than the trout population, that's for sure.
Yeah. Fuck the trout. Not as good as the.
Fuck Mike Trout.
Well,
Not as good as the birds, but then the other thing, I mean, I know, kind of like getting into our New Year's resolution of being healthier and happier and stuff. Talking about diets.
Yeah, I've seen
Talking
that.
about
Diet.
diets.
Yeah, diet is the thing from 2024.
Yeah.
okay, so let me put that on.
So, best diet for 2024 goes to a
That-
science-backed style of eating.
That doesn't look good.
It looks all right.
No,
It's the Mediterranean diet version of a tuna salad.
Yep.
Granted, I would never eat a normal tuna salad. I don't really like salad.
Please pull a photo of a picanha in there and let's compare.
I would just put a lot of brisket in there. I would call it Texan Mediterranean. How about that?
Well, so, I mean, this...
I got one that nicely
With salad.
Like that one with the butter on top.
Just
Oh no,
because-
that's salad like. That
That's
one-
just I like this one.
yeah, that's salad like. Okay.
It's salad, right? So
It's picanha with salad.
yes,
Well,
trash
that's a nicer salad in
This is salad. Okay?
Yes.
If I'm going to eat a salad, it's got to look just like this.
Oh, man, I want those beef
there.
ribs.
Yeah, what is better?
Jesus.
look at the other page.
What is
that you
side by
have.
side, please?
Can we do side by side?
Just pull it.
I can
This
do
side.
anything through Christ.
Make me a believer.
Would you like that? Just telling you the truth. I don't know why it's so funny.
Okay, I'll put it on. So which one do you like better? Write us on the comments. Which one do you like better?
I would mix it all together and it's gonna be beautiful.
And it's so funny because, I mean, the article says science-backed style of eating.
Well, let's
And
break
then-
down each word there, because
Yeah.
I want to know what's behind each word there.
Well,
What science you're talking about?
but I think
Keto
it's
science?
well,
No, I think they're saying it's a good diet, and they're backing their reasoning with science.
Yes,
Right.
That's what I got to.
that's what I got out of it too. But I was gonna be
He's
a
just
little
making
bit
fun.
facetious of it and be like, isn't it the nature of man to be like, oh, your science, go shove it up your ass. I'm just gonna go have a steak and some potatoes.
Pack of
Yes.
Marlboro.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
didn't
give a
use those words, but I said I prefer a steak.
Would that title pass the AI test? Don't you think it could be a hey, be witty and cogent, whatever, an AI, and someone would come up with this
I'm
twinkly
sure.
word,
I'm sure. Yeah.
science-backed style? You know, I don't know.
This is bitch Sandy.
Yeah.
Working for CNN. God damn
So
it.
it's a DASH diet. DASH stands for a dietary approach to stop hypertension.
Okay, stop hypertension. So it's
That
focused on
kind
that.
of diet was second place to the MIND diet, which is a Mediterranean DASH intervention for neurodegenerative delay. So that slows down
Mhm.
your aging process in your
Yes.
brain
Mhm.
by eating more Mediterranean style diet of food.
Which is a big
Less
fatty.
carbs. There has to be less carbs.
It is. It's
It is
more leafy greens, fats from fish,
Nuts.
and nuts.
Yogurts, fatty yogurts.
Do
They've
your
got-
own.
they've
Do
add
your own
protein to
Don't
that.
they have
studies,
leaner
but
meats?
carbs are
Oh,
not
of
good
course.
for you. Carbs are unhealthy. But that's my
Some
take on it.
carbs are good. You
Yeah.
can't
Some
have
carbs are good.
Yes.
Yes, some
Well,
carbs are good.
As I don't know which one
But let
they
me say,
are,
let me say
I'd
that.
rather
Yes,
not have
some carbs are good because everybody said right. So
Well, in terms
Yeah.
of not, there are some carbs that are good and some carbs are bad. Carbs are good in moderation.
Yes.
Some,
Right, yes.
just a little bit. Some carbs, it's okay. A lot of carbs, not okay.
Yeah.
Mediterranean diet, even
So
keto diet,
Yes.
is not zero carb. It's low net carbs.
I do 20
high fiber
grams of carbs
a
net.
day.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So
Lots
some
of
having
fiber.
a little bit of carbs
Yes.
is
lots of
good.
fiber.
And fiber cancels out carbs. So that's where
Exactly.
you end up with net carbs. So if you got 20 grams of fiber and 40 grams of carbs, you have 20 grams of net carbs.
I
Right.
ate today
That's what you're looking for is the net carbs.
because I register all my, in my
But-
fitness ball.
Yeah.
I added. So
You
today
know
I had
this
like
on-
90
for the
grams
viewers,
of
not you.
carbs, but
Just
70
looking at you. But I know
70
you know.
was fiber.
Oh, so you had a net 20.
Net 20, but I ate 90.
Right. Oh, interesting.
But it's
But with the fiber, the
With
net
the fiber,
20 is all that matters.
Yeah.
yes.
That's where you get into like keto breads and stuff that are like 6 grams net per slice. It's
But I
'cause they're
noticed that-
higher.
This amount of fiber takes me out of keto.
Oh, it does.
It does. Even though but it's only 20, but because I measure every day, okay? So I noticed that when I eat this amount of fiber, even though it's only 20 net,
Yes.
I get out of keto.
Is that the like kind of threshold number, like 20 or?
No, it's
Even
because of
less than that?
because of the 70 grams of fiber. Because I ate 70 grams of fiber. And
Oh, to get to 20 net, you mean?
yes, to go down to 20
Is
grams
there
of carb net.
a maximum amount of fiber that you've been able to test?
I remember the guy I follow. He mentions it depends on the organism, right? It depends on who is eating
You,
it.
yeah,
yes.
sure.
How long you've been doing that? One thing I noticed is that I ate only once from yesterday to today.
Mhm.
Then it goes back to keto very fast.
Okay.
I don't need 12 hours intermittent fasting in order to get there. Like I go super fast, maybe 34 hours later. But you get out of keto. Because I tried it, and I tried it 4 hours later. I tried twice. I got glucose in my arm, and then I do it. Yeah, so I do it. The shots, the
Like the diabetic
Yes,
strips?
yes,
Yeah.
but it has ketones,
Ah, okay.
right? So I do with the urine too, to see how much ketones you're actually.
The
putting out.
best way of testing is like you do with the blood.
It's a blood test.
But this one contradicts sometimes the one from the finger, so they say the finger is still more reliable. So what I do from time to once a week, I go there, and I calibrate. I say, hey, I just did in my finger, and here it says 117. Here was 110. So it adapts the whole thing.
Ah, okay. So it gives a better accurate, more.
Yes,
accurate.
and I think it goes up to a week before, so it adjusts. Even if it was higher or lower by percentage, it goes there and adjusts it.
Interesting.
And then there's a report showing everything.
Well, ironically, keto ended up being number in the 20s as far as like,
Yes.
the best
Mhm.
diet.
Yeah, I believe so.
So, because the problem is that they say with keto is that it's good to get into, but it's hard to maintain. Yeah, a lot of people fall out of keto. It's hard to maintain that lifestyle and stuff like that. So, I mean, again, this is science-backed.
Yes.
Article.
Style. Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I don't know. I've never been. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. How hard would it be for you to eat bacon every morning?
Not hard at all.
I just had
Nice.
bacon when I came over here.
But that was why I hate that that's the metric, because that's always been the metric with diets. Is
Yes,
how easy are they to follow? Like that's everybody says that about keto. Like it's good to do, but it's hard to maintain. So I don't like to recommend
I
it
don't
to
think
people.
it's hard to maintain. It's the
But even if-
easiest to maintain.
It's
I
a
did it for 3 years.
anything in life though. A diet is a change in them. I don't like when people go into something and it's a diet. You should really look at it as a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
Because if you go on a diet and you lose
Yeah.
the weight and then you stop doing the diet, you're going to gain it back. It
Okay.
might take 2 years
But I
to
feel
get back
like in
80 pounds
English,
heavier, but
the
you
word
will.
diet gives me that perspective. When I say diet in
Just for
Portuguese,
now.
the word
Dieta?
yes, the word dieta gives the idea of this restraint, of food. But in English, I don't have that idea.
It can't
My
be.
concept of diet is the one you mentioned.
It's like
in English.
lifestyle.
It has
Oh,
to
that's
be
fine.
the way you view it.
Yes, when I
But
say
the-
like, it's part of my diet, I don't think it's like I'm doing a restrict following. When I say that in English, I don't feel the same impact. But maybe I'm wrong on that. But I don't have the
No,
same.
in
impact.
that's the
Portuguese,
connotation of
if
the
you
word.
say it's part of my diet in Portuguese, it falls onto the same category as like it's part of my diet in English.
And so
I don't
context.
feel
To me,
Yeah, not for me.
But
yeah,
the
yeah.
way you say that
Weird.
contextually for me is different too. Because if you were to say,
True,
so and so X is a part of my diet,
Yes.
you view the word diet as
Like,
a
okay,
noun.
so
It's
you are
something that
controlling your substance.
Yeah, but if like, I'm on a diet, to me that
Yes.
sounds temporary. I'm
Right.
temporarily on a diet.
Yes.
So everybody's
Your
journey
lifestyle.
with diets are
Mm.
different. Some people, it could be sports-related injury, rehab. It could be trying to put weight on, and you go on like a carnivore. Everybody's relationship and the journey of
trying to
how they
lose-
got to a diet is different.
I'm trying to lose weight, so,
So-
I'm on a diet,
And
temporary
if they're
diet.
heavy overweight and they want to get rid of weight fast, it's like, I want to do something dramatic. I want to do something that's going to make a big impact. I'm going to go on keto. I'm going to intermittent fast. I'm going to do all this stuff. And then they struggle to do it long term because they're not thinking of it as a long term
yeah.
commitment. But when you go and do one of these from the beginning, day one, don't think after 90 days I'm going to cheat. There are no cheat days.
No.
It's a lifestyle change.
Yes.
And that my journey with keto was from diabetes. My family all have diabetes. And I went and got tested, and I'm like at risk of becoming pre-diabetic. So I cut carbs out. I did keto for like 2 years. Didn't find it difficult at all. It's just a self-discipline thing.
Yeah.
And some people are really good at self-disciplining. Some are very bad.
But again, he's just saying what you said about how well we would behave in drills, or we would behave in a case. The same thing, like for sure, like
Culturally, Japan would be better, but there are outliers.
yes, and definitely the same thing probably
Diets?
happens with diets. Think about
Going to the gym.
the incentives. I'm just reading a book called Obesity right now, an audiobook and book, and then he just mentions how many sugars. He mentions, man, it's boring because I listened 3 or 4 times this chapter.
Yeah,
And then he mentions the 329 types of sugar Americans have in their foods.
yeah.
He classifies colors.
329.
Yeah, by the color, by how it's made, by the origins.
It's like red dye number 2.
Yeah, and
red
then
dye number 5.
here goes
Oh,
sugar in liquid, and then he mentions 30 something different types.
Sucralose, all the loses.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then he compares, right? So the healthiest ones, which is stevia,
Plant-based.
allulose, and erythritol.
Mhm.
Right, so xylitol too. He mentions this 4, and also I forgot the last one. It's a fruity one too. Monk fruit. Yes, monk fruit. So he mentions the 5 sugar that he considers better than the others. Allulose is number 1. So there's a bunch of people consuming allulose in sweets in California now. So because it has
It's an
fiber, it
alternative.
has fiber on that. It adds 0 carbohydrates.
And there was a science
And it's
behind
sweet.
that book.
It's sweet, better. Huh?
There was science behind the book.
Behind every book.
Oh, this book? Yes, he's a doctor. He's a specialist in that. I follow this guy. I would later. I can add the name because I really like the book. I like the book. It's easy for audiobook. Super
Mhm.
easy. Can I lend you books?
I don't know.
Maybe I can lend you books. You can.
Audio.
If
Yeah,
you
with
can.
the audio, you can take it for a month. I think it's
Okay.
a third of the price or something.
I think it used to be like that, but I'm not sure if you can do that now. But
I don't know. But that's what my advice always to people that are wanting to lose weight is to, before you go down the route of picking a diet and doing all of those things, my first 2 recommendations are drink nothing but water. Firstly, if you're drinking soda, fruit juices, punt, tea, take it all away. Drink water, black coffee, sugarless caffeinated tea. That's it. That will make a big difference. You'll lose weight. Drinking more water actually helps your body reduce water weight. When you don't drink a lot of water, your body holds on to that water
Stores
and it stores it because it never knows when it's going to get more.
Yes.
But if you're constantly drinking water, I do. The downside is I pee many times a day, but my body's always flushed out. I'm never really that thirsty. I'm just always drinking.
yeah, I only pee like twice a week.
Yeah, you can ask him.
Oh my God!
Throughout the workday, I probably get up to pee.
Why you said that I already pee twice?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I probably pee
Pee
5 to
myself.
7
Yes.
times a day while I'm here at work, if not sometimes more. Like, I'm always getting up and going to the bathroom. That's number 1. Number 2, instead of looking at cutting out, just when you go to the store, stop buying crap from Walmart. Maybe even stop buying certain stuff from HEB here in Texas.
Processed food, man.
Processed foods. Go shop at Trader Joe's. Go shop at Whole Foods. Go shop at Sprouts. Go shop at local markets and
I
turn
love Sprouts.
everything over and read the back and look for anything
Costco
you can't
has a lot of
pronounce.
great
Chemicals
things, too.
and crap. Don't buy it. Don't buy the nicer pasture-raised, organic, free-roaming chicken. I know it's more
Yes.
expensive. I know that eggs cost more, but buy them. And I promise you,
Eat less.
Eat the
Eat
same.
better.
Eat the
Yes.
same ingredients for the most part. Cut out the junk and sugar and potato chips, but you can eat all the regular stuff you're eating, just not processed. You don't need all the processed cheeses and all that. Buy regular cheese.
The point is, when you go to a restaurant, you have no control
But
out of the sauces.
How many
and-
times you
I
go
say
to a
that-
restaurant?
And it
You
depends
don't
on
go
the
every day to
Some
a
people-
restaurant.
Oh
Some
no,
people-
not in the
people
US
do.
though.
Some people, especially my age, like bachelor type guys, have a little bit of extra money. They don't want to cook. They order Uber Eats for dinner every night,
Yes.
every day.
Yes.
Maybe
And that they cannot control, but
But I say that to my fiance all the time because we control what we're making, and like the ingredients that go in it. Sometimes I do want to buy something that has not as good as ingredients as something else. 'Cause I think it sounds good, and she always shuts me down. No, we're not going to buy that. Then we go to a restaurant, and she'll get something. I know for a fact that's got the heavy cream, it's got butter, it's going to have all kinds of crap that you don't know. That didn't come from Whole Foods. Why does
Right.
it? When we're at a restaurant, it doesn't matter. But when I'm at the store buying it, all of a sudden, so you can't have it both ways. You know what I mean? Like if it's gonna be no, we
Sure.
can't have it, then you can't order that at a restaurant. If you're gonna be that strict about it,
if you have to be very strict. But
because it's gonna be worse at a restaurant than
if
it
you,
is.
if at
what I
least you
cook at home.
control, it's like when you go and get like a hamburger and then you order like a Diet Coke, so they don't have sugar.
Yeah.
But the aspartame's not any better.
Well, yes, but you know,
just mentioned. Hey, yeah, it's mentioned there.
But for example, at least you're not getting at least you're not getting the sugar, and okay, so I'm saving the sugar on the Diet Coke, but I'm using that on that. So it's less overall in calories.
Yeah, true.
I don't.
So
If you save
Calories is
your good
such
food to do at
An
home,
arbitrary metric.
Yeah, yeah.
though.
you're gonna love that chapter 2 from this unit. He only talks about that. Not all carbs, not all sugars,
Are
not
bad
all
or
not all
good.
calories are the same.
Not all proteins.
Proteins
Great.
are the same.
Depends, yeah.
But you're saying, number 1, drink only water. Number 2, cut the crap. What is number 3?
Stop the process up. Number 3, stop being so sedentary. Get up and walk your neighborhood. You have a dog, go walk your dog outside. Little baby steps.
Move your butt out of the
Move
steel.
your body. Just move your body around. That's it.
Blood flowing.
That's it.
For example, I invited him to play racquetball,
Yeah.
and then he's interested in playing.
good.
Isn't
Yeah.
that great? So,
Racquetball is nice.
I love
Yeah.
racquetball.
so what I liked it about sports like this is because, I don't even notice when you see 1 hour, and I lost 600, 700 calories.
Sure.
And I didn't even think about, I'm not. Dylan, have you ever seen a skateboarder or a surfer say, "Oh, today I'm gonna surf for 45 minutes. I gotta put it 45 minutes." Have you ever seen a skateboarder? Oh no, I'm gonna spend only 30 minutes today.
Nobody does that. I mean, if you're
No,
doing,
they do it when they go to the gym.
No, it's
That's
quite-
my
it's
point.
quite
When
the
you go to
opposite.
a gym, when you go to swimming, most people would say, "No, that's 30 minutes, 45 minutes." If you run, you have the time. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, to that point, I come from like a big gym family. My dad, my brother are big gym fanatics. My dad was Mr. California of 1986. Like he's all about the gym. He does not time. It's all about workout.
He's every single time he's out on a park or somewhere, he has his shirt off.
Yeah.
He's like,
But-
and he's
Outlier.
showing his
But
body.
I'm just gonna
That's an
mention
outlier.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I would say. It's
It
a
is.
complete outlier, which is also possible and a
okay,
great
okay.
example for you and
Right.
for us.
Right.
But it doesn't work like that.
Right.
You know?
But I see what you're saying. I'm just saying, like, there are certain people that treat aspects of like, oh, I'm only going to go surfing or do something for a certain
Connect the
amount of time.
dots here because it's what you're saying, and it's what you're saying. It's when you do something you enjoy.
Love.
It doesn't
Yes.
feel
It-
like you're doing it. So your dad and your family, your brother, they love the gym.
Yes.
What we would refer to as gym rats, and that's a term of endearment.
Yes.
To them, they want to be in the gym. A skateboarder wants to be at the skate park. It's quite the opposite. They're like, man, I only have 2 hours. They look down, it's been 4. Like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Because the time just goes away from you.
Yeah.
And then they probably lost 1,200 calories skating for 4 hours. You
Yeah.
know, something crazy.
Yes.
I used to play squash when I lived in UK, and then I would go to the court, and then I would do my game, and then I would just hang, and then somebody would arrive, and I have nobody else to play.
Yeah.
Do you want to play with me? Yeah, I would go again. I would spend like 1.5, 2 hours in the club.
We would do that playing racquetball. My dad and my son would come and we would play racquetball every Sunday at the Clay Matson Rec Center. And you could only rent out the courts for an hour until someone comes in and wants to reserve it. Well, so I mean, there
There's
were
always an unless.
there were a couple of times when nobody would show up to take the court, we would just keep playing. I mean, there was multiple Sundays where we played like 3 hours straight.
I know.
My son is like dragging. We're dragging him out of there. He's like, I am so tired. But we played
Are
for
y'all still going?
3 hours. 3 hours.
I know.
And
I
I
think
mean,
Lily would love racquetball.
it's so
What's that?
much fun.
Lily,
Oh, Lily.
yeah.
So, man,
She's
let's
so-
make it happen.
Oh, I know.
Let's make it
She
happen.
has
I know, Joe. I'm
natural
going there
movement of
to
playing
Madison.
Yeah.
the
Play
tennis
Madison.
racket.
All right.
I
I'll
got
go.
a year. It's
Good.
got
She
a
loves
year.
it.
I like that one.
Contract
Get her into
with
golf,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Yeah, I signed for a year.
But she's too competitive.
I'll go with you. I'll go
Sure.
with
Like
you.
I'm
to
going to
extreme.
start working out next week.
Oh, good.
Next week,
Very-
I'm going to work out
very
3 times a week.
competitive.
Slower pace game.
start with 3
It's
times a
still
week. But I
competitive
know
when I
that.
want.
I'm
Tony
going to
man,
get
golf.
addicted to
That's
that.
gonna
So,
be her
but
meal
for
too.
now, 3 times a week.
She could
I
make
don't
some
want to
real
get
money.
injured.
Because now in college,
So I'm
there's
separating-
the NIL money.
I work out in a day,
Yeah.
2 days off,
Okay.
another day, and
They-
probably I'm going
the
to
other
work
day
only
she was
once a
asking-
week each muscle.
This weekend.
Uh-huh.
Muscle parts,
Let's
right?
go
And
to
then
that
later I
monster
want to do
golf thing.
all the
He's a
muscles
putt-putt.
He's
Yeah.
round rock.
3 times a week.
Yeah.
or
He wanted to
something.
go.
That'll be fine.
You
That's
start
a
off
good.
with
That's a good way of
top
starting
golf,
out.
to do driving.
Yeah,
and
later
then
I'll
take
see what
lessons
I'm
and
gonna
stuff
do.
if she's
Yeah.
interested.
We have
It's
an app.
expensive, so you don't want to
It's
force her to
amazing.
do anything. But
An app like
it used to be
Hey,
like, oh,
which
get her
one you have?
college paid for
Yeah.
it. Now she could
Yeah.
make money.
Yeah.
With the college NIL. How
Oh.
college athletes are making money now. So, there's a huge, a lot of scholarship money goes unused for women's golf. For collegiate athletes, women that play golf.
Interesting.
There's so much untapped
Got
money
Lily and
and
Lauren.
collegiate scholarship money that
Yeah.
no one applies for, no one gets.
golf, for example.
That's what I was saying. If you get the girls into golf, my stepsister did it, and she got a full ride to UTSA.
There you go.
And she's not even good at golf.
I will break the protocol a little bit, and I'm going to tell you
Sorry, Mason.
about the dates, right? Yeah. So tomorrow is 1 year since I've done my hip replacement,
Congratulations.
and I wasn't able to walk from here to my car without pain. Now I'm going to run a cap 10K.
Got 10K
Yeah.
I'm running on Saturday. I'm going to run my first 11K.
this Saturday.
Yeah, I ran four Saturdays in a row, 8K. And during the week, I ran 3K and 5K, 358, right? And I noticed one tip that I would surely would like to share is that I noticed that repeating sports when I was 260 pounds, now I'm 210 pounds, so I lost 50 pounds or something, 50 something pounds.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't lose because sometimes when you lose stuff, you find it.
Yeah, I burned it.
You shaved it.
Yeah, I shaped
Shaped
it. So what I'm trying to say is that I noticed that when I repeated sports twice, the same movements 2 or 3 times a week when I started, I would get injured. So my recommendation is trying something different every day, not repeating the same sport, because then you try different muscles in a different way.
Sure.
And you don't get injured, because number one cause of stopping
Injury.
is injury.
Yeah.
Especially when you're overweighted, you're not used to the weighting, you're used to the weight. And I think this is what I would share. If I have to share one thing, I would say that this is
talking about sports. I think it's a good time to start all football picks.
Battle of the Logos.
Right. So, do you want to bring that up on the screen, please?
Do you want to talk about this at all?
Well, let me do the bottom of the logo. We're gonna start the bottom of the logo, and but yeah. So this is this week. So that's the last week.
This is last week
This
before the
is
playoffs.
the last week, and this is your playoff picture. So things are shaping up in the NFC here and the AFC. There are only 2 teams left on the bubble in the AFC. If the season ended right now, these teams would be in. So it's getting interesting. The Jags play the Titans. I believe if they lose, they still have a chance to get in, but it's very unlikely. If the Bills lose, they're out. So for the Bills versus Miami, that is essentially a playoff game. If they lose, they're out. If Miami loses, they need a little bit of help, they can still get in. Colts, if they lose, they're out. Texans, if they lose, they're out. I think the Steelers, even with the win, need a little help.
Yeah.
I think. I'm not 100% sure. And the same's true over here. The Bucks, if they beat Carolina, they'll clinch the South. If they lose, they have another path in. Packers have to win or they're out. Seahawks, I believe, have to win, and they still need help.
Yeah, they need a lot of help.
They need help after winning. Saints play the Falcons, I believe. Falcons still have a chance, 36% there with the win. Vikings need a lot of help even with the win. 11% chance of getting in even with the win. So they need a lot of help. So a lot of this is shaping up to be pretty interesting. Let's check out the matchups.
Yes.
All right, we have the Pittsburgh Blinders at the Baltimore
Birds.
Ravens.
The Baltimore Birds.
So your tidbit on this game is that the Birds clinch the number 1 seed. It's clinched. So they might not be playing this game as hard. They have no reason to.
They want to stay healthy.
And they're not defending any records. They don't have an undefeated season. Like, they want to go they've already lost. They don't have any players, I think, that need to hit a certain amount of yards. So I think they're just going to play pretty conservatively. And Pittsburgh has to win to get in.
What's history between Steelers and Ravens is? Do they have
yes.
a history?
Same conference, so they hate each other. Not hate each other, but they fight hard.
They're rivals.
Ravens played at home, best team. They
Baltimore,
must win.
Maryland, and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Yes,
so
so
they're not
close.
far from each
Yes.
other. They're both in the AFC North. If this wasn't the last week of the season,
Are
this
the
would have been a
Steelers
huge
out
game.
already?
No,
No.
they need this one. Did the Steelers?
Steelers beat the Seahawks last week.
The Ravens only have 3 losses, and I can't remember who the. Did they lose to the Steelers?
I can't
Or did they lose to
remember.
the Bengals? Because they lost to someone in their division.
I know they lost to the Bengals.
Maybe it was the Bengals.
It was the Bengals.
Either way, it's your gut wants to say Ravens because they're 13-3 and they're the Ravens. I don't even know if Lamar's going to play the full game.
I'm going Steelers on this.
I think Steelers is more. I don't know. I'm not decided, but
I'm going Ravens.
I think it's more likely.
You guys know.
Because I'm never gonna pick the blinders anymore until that guy's out.
Mike, your answer
Johnson
about the
guy.
rivalry.
Thing is, he did some damage against Seattle, which
I
was
don't
very
care.
unfortunate.
I was just about to
Can
say, Deontay Johnson had a really good last game.
He can be a good player, but he's blind.
Like the others, right?
No, on that game, that I lost respect for that guy. So
Good. Hold to it, Hilton. I'm not going to let you pick anyone else.
I mean, don't forget that fire either when it comes time, because next season when we got to narrow down your list of teams, you got to pick one. And we got to remember that the blinders, they pissed you off this year.
I have a bird memory.
Like a raven. You remember faces.
All right.
This is tough.
I'm gonna take the Steelers.
All
Right. 2-2?
2-2.
Yeah.
Last
Split?
week we had way too many sweeps. Trying to make it a little more interesting. Texans at Colts.
Give
I'm
me
gonna
the
go-
Colts.
You're going to go Colts?
You're gonna go Colts.
I'm going to Colts.
I'm gonna go Texans.
Same here.
Same here.
Alright.
It's when to get in right here. This is essentially a playoff game.
Yeah.
And I think the Texans need help even if they win. But either they're gonna play hard.
But I like the Texans. They've been and CJ Stroud is supposed to play. He's coming off of the concussion protocol.
Yep.
I just like the feel good story of them this year, so I'm gonna go for him.
Hilton would at the beginning of the year I wouldn't touch
Yeah.
the Houston Texans with a 50-foot pole. I didn't want nothing to do with them. But as the season's going on, I actually have. This is a decision based off more emotion than maybe logic. Not because
There's a
they're
respect.
just destined to lose, but yes, they actually earned.
It's a mix of feelings.
They earned my respect this year. Mainly C.J. Stroud. Really, I like him. He's a rookie. They didn't have him before.
What's
And,
at stake for the Colts?
They don't get in if they lose.
If they lose,
Yeah,
out of the playoffs.
Playing home? Nah.
But that's the same for the Texans
Yes, yeah.
and their division rivals.
Yeah.
It's a rivalry game. So let's move on to Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Carolina Panthers. If Bucks win this game, they will clinch their division and clinch. They're going to be in either way. They don't really have to win this game, but that doesn't mean they don't want to.
Bucks.
Bucks.
The Buccaneers.
Man, give me the Panthers.
Don't do it. No.
Give me the Panthers.
And you know what's crazy is that I picked the Buccaneers last week, and they got freaking mollywopped.
Yeah.
What was the game? 56? Was it Miami Dolphins? The Dolphins beat?
No, the Dolphins got beat by the Ravens.
Yeah, 56 points. I've seen that. Yeah, that was a statement.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was a statement.
statement.
We have the Cleveland Browns at the Cincinnati Bengals. Browns clinched their division, and the head coach announced they are sitting Joe Flacco. He's not playing. A bunch of their starters are not playing to preserve their health. And Cincy, on the other side, was already eliminated from playoffs. They have no chance of getting in.
The Browns. Give me the Browns.
I'm gonna go Bengals.
Tigers.
Same, Bengals. Only because the Browns aren't playing all their starters, and the Bengals are probably pissed off they didn't make the playoffs, and they just want to get one last win before the season's over. Minnesota Vikings at the Detroit Lions. The Vikings really need this win and help from other teams. I don't see it happening. Lions are pissed
I
about
like
that
Lakes.
Cowboys game.
I like Lakes, so I'm gonna take the
You're going
Vikings.
to take the Vikings?
So he goes with
Should
the
have picked it
logo.
as a heel today.
I'll go with the. I'll go with the
Geography.
nature, geology, or geography.
Geology or
geography.
I'm going to go with the Lions.
How dare you guys?
no.
I'm going Lions.
I'm with you on this.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Lions?
I'm going to go Lions also.
Conrad's also in the Lions. I don't know if you watched it or not. The Cowboys versus the Lions game last week ended up a huge controversy.
Yeah, how do you feel about that, Dylan? I meant to ask you. Unbiased.
Unbiased. If you
Don't
watch,
roll your eyes like the guy who's smoking the cigar.
I just think if
It's so
you don't even have to be a fan of either two teams. If you are
So
unbiased and you just go in and you look at it every play all the way up until that point, that the drive where we had the ball right beforehand, they throw a flag for tripping on our DN or something. I don't think it was Parsons. It's either Ferguson or Hendershot. It was our tight end. And then you go back and watch it. Aiden Hutchinson, the defensive end for the Lions, came up into the play. Our tight end goes right past him. He sticks his leg out and he trips him. So the tripping penalty should not have been on Dallas. It would have been on Detroit. So first of all, instead of us getting backed up 15 yards, we would have gained 15 yards and we would have ran the clock out and the game would have been over. Even if that play just never happened, I still am confident we would have kept going and ran the ball out. Ran the clock out running the ball.
Right.
Instead, they get a bullshit tripping penalty, which forces us to have to punt and give them the ball, which then they go all the way down the field, 75 yards, and then they get set up, they score a touchdown, and then instead of kicking the extra point to tie the game 20-20, it's 19-20, and they go for 2 to win. And that I do think, I don't know, I see both sides of it. I think it sucks if you're a Detroit Lions fan that is the reason why you didn't get the 2-point conversion. But if you watch everything and the way even their head coach Dan Campbell has come out and said that they've coached that play, the whole point of it was deception. All game long, on the line, at the far end, the tackles, one can report as eligible as a receiver. Otherwise, offensive linemen cannot touch the ball. They can't catch the ball. So you have to go in.
Oh, because of that 2 points thing.
Anytime in the game. And this was actually happening all game long. They were lining up in a certain formation that put guys over here, and there was an uncovered lineman who's the tackle on the left side of the O-line. Uncovered, meaning there's one guy over here. There's not a second guy that has to get back because he's covered. There's nobody. So it's a trips formation, essentially. One guy, wide receiver, tackle. The tackle, before the play starts, the drive, has to go to the ref and report as eligible. Most of the time, they don't verbally do that. It's you do this.
Do like a hand signal.
You can do a hand signal, or this is universally known as I'm reporting eligible. The big deal is the ref then announces it over the loudspeaker in the entire stadium to alert the defense. It's a rule. The defense has to be told if a lineman is coming in and reporting as eligible. Otherwise, it's an unfair advantage. And if you follow the NFL, there's a lot of rules that cater to the offense. The defense does not get much help, especially with rules. So that's one of the few things that you do get. And all game long, number 70 kept reporting as eligible. They never did anything with him. They never threw him the ball. All game long, that's what he's doing. Then apparently number 68 goes up, and at the same time he's going up to do it, number 70 comes running up to try and confuse the defense. So now you have 3 offensive linemen talking to the ref at the same time, trying to confuse the defense as to who is the one reporting eligible. And over the loudspeaker, if you watch the All-22 camera and you listen, he goes, number 70 has reported as eligible. That's what he said. And they throw the ball to 68. It's a flag for illegal touching. It's what it is. Do I agree with that call? Kind of stupid. Yeah. But Detroit coached that whole thing up to be deceptive. And if you're going to be so deceptive that it confuses the referee, you fucked yourself. But all of that, I don't think that even is worth the conversation and arguing about, because if you go one drive before, they should have never even had the ball back. Because it was a bogus tripping call. And I'm not going to bore you guys. We can pull the video up and you can see the Detroit guy does it. But
I would like to see.
I'll show you.
Maybe I can see it later because I'm
I'll
just
show you.
catching up just parts of what you're saying.
I'll
How
show
about you, Hilton?
Yeah, I don't think you saw the game, did you?
No.
But did you get what is happening? Because
Yeah.
Oh, you got it.
Because already
Long story
been talking
short,
to these guys too much.
we had the ball.
But we Dylan will pull it up and show you.
Yes.
I'll show
what
you.
I mean.
I don't know if you know all the rules or anything. If you run the ball and you stay inside the lines of the field, you don't run out of bounds.
Yes.
The clock stays running.
Yeah. Right.
Especially
get
like
out,
the last
it
minute
stops.
under, and then it
And
stops.
that's why they go out.
Yes.
Because just to mark the
Especially late,
territory.
and you don't want to waste a timeout. So you throw the ball and you get out of bounds, it stops the clock.
Perfect.
We're running the ball and going down, and it keeps
Okay.
the clock running.
Right.
Okay? So we don't want to give the ball back. We just want to run the clock completely out. There gets to a certain point, if they've killed all their timeouts, we'll just keep running the ball. When there's 40 seconds left, we don't even have to run another snap. Game's over. That's the plan. That's what you're supposed to do. And then on one of our offensive plays, their defensive guy stuck his leg out and tripped somebody.
Oh.
For whatever reason, tripping in the NFL is illegal. It leads to more injuries, and it's an illegal move. You can't do
Well,
it.
it's like holding someone. I mean, it's
illegal.
ultimately- Yeah, you're preventing that person from doing what their job or
Yeah.
their respective.
Right.
It's
thing
fine.
is.
You can run at somebody full speed, hit 22 miles an hour, leave your feet, hit them right in the sternum with your shoulder, and break a rib, but you can't trip them.
Yeah. This
That's
is something.
the NFL.
This is something that I don't understand in this
But
sport.
that's
So
why-
it's very hard for me to understand when it's a fall, when it's not.
Right.
I mean,
So-
the more you watch, the more you kind of get the grasp.
It becomes
the
natural.
grip.
You understand it.
Once you learn the rules, then it makes sense. But basically, what I'm telling you is that 2 + 2 = 4. I can't tell you why 2 + 2 = 4.
Okay.
I can't tell you why they made all these decisions,
Right.
but tripping is illegal.
Okay.
One of their players tripped one of our players, but they threw the flag and said that Dallas tripped one of Detroit's players. Opposite.
which is wrong.
If you go back and watch the tape, not what happened.
Can't you stop and use the VAR for something like this?
For certain, when the ref is the one that initiates and throws the flag like that, no. And it was in the final 2 minutes of the game, so all reviews are handled upstairs by
Right.
in New York
Committee.
and in the committee, so you can't throw a coach's challenge on that, nothing. So you just have so
the
that's
last 2 minutes.
so everybody you're at the mercy of the referees knowing the game, and that's why everybody's mad at those referees. They're kind of like not wanting them to be involved in the playoffs anymore, but they're going to be in a big game coming up soon. I don't know if it's Buffalo, Miami, or one of these other big games.
Shit.
They just got put on another primetime game.
Yeah.
But it's all a controversy. But when you go back and look at it, to me, it's really like black and white. It's that one play. And if we would have tripped him, I'd say, yeah, I think it still bit Detroit in the ass trying to do that confusion stuff. But it's a shitty way to lose a game.
Yeah.
And it cost them a lot. It cost them the number 2 seed because now Dallas has the number 2 seed.
Mm.
So it was a big deal, but I think that comes down to coaching too.
Yeah.
After they had 3 attempts to do it. They go for it. They get that illegal touching call where he didn't register report as eligible. So as soon as he touches that ball, it's illegal touching, which is the same way. You probably wouldn't know this rule, but if a wide receiver is running down the field, if a defender pushes him out of bounds, he can't be the first person to go up and touch the ball.
I
That's
didn't know
considered
that, yeah.
illegal touching. So it's the
Okay.
same rule. It's illegal touching. So technically he could, if it bounced off someone else's hands and he caught it, but it was a direct pass to him. All that means is they line up and do it again, but they lost 5 yards. The very next
Oh
play,
yeah, because that is that. If they do something like that, they have to go back 5
Okay,
yards.
it's a
It depends on
penalty.
the severity.
It's a
Yeah.
tiny penalty.
So I'll tell you what happens the very next play. The very next play, they go for it again, and he throws an interception.
Okay.
Game's over. But wait, it's not. Micah Parsons jumped off sides. So the 5 yards they just lost because of the penalty, they gained right back, and we're lining up. We're doing it again for a third time. They had
Oh.
3 chances to do this.
Okay.
That third time, he might have been better off kicking the extra point, tying the game, going into
into extra
overtime.
time.
They tried to win.
Because clearly,
Yeah.
that one big like controversial play that was supposed to catch the defense off guard. It worked, but there was a penalty, so now it doesn't count. If you don't have another play to confuse these guys, go to overtime.
Exactly.
But
Play some more.
that's not his style of football. That's not what he wanted to do, and he doesn't regret it. He was on the talk radio show, and he stands by it, and that's fine. But I don't think that it's that bad of a referee call. I think they were trying to be confusing and deceptive, and it bit them in the ass. And it should have never even got to that point anyways, and I'll show you the video later.
Sure.
That being said, I think the Lions
Just,
will win this week because they're pissed.
2 points.
The Lions are pissed.
Just 2 points. The first one is, how many times can you pass the ball and the other person passes to another person?
Unlimited, given certain parameters. So only one person behind the line of scrimmage, the quarterback, can throw a forward pass.
All right.
Unless the ball is pitched or lateraled or a backwards pass. So
Yes. Yeah.
if I'm here, it just has to go 1 yard behind me. I pass backwards to Konrad. I could run down here and then he could throw it to me.
Right.
So if, in theory, if I pass it to Konrad and he turns around and passes it to someone else, if you keep throwing it backwards, whoever is at the back can throw it forwards, and the person in the front could throw it back again.
Right. So you can kill the time doing this.
It's called a lateral play, and you usually only see it as the last play of the game, and it's someone's last chance to win. But they'll run up and they pitch it to someone else.
It does happen.
Can't you kill the time by doing this?
You technically could, but it's very dangerous because every time you throw the ball, someone drops it, or it's a fumble, it can turn the ball over, depending where you're at on the field.
So I've seen a play. I've seen a play this weekend. Someone throw it back. The guy jumped super high, and then he threw the ball to someone, and then someone, I think, had a home run or something.
Yeah, that happened in a college. I don't know if you watched the college.
Yeah.
It was Michigan versus Alabama. And
I think that's the game.
J.J. McCarthy. It was a really good play.
Super high.
He hands it off to the running back, runs over here. The running back throws it to him. It's a bad throw, and the quarterback jumped
so high, man. With one hand, right?
Yeah,
with only one hand.
Instead of like this one hand, he like offstands like
The
this
opposite
way
hand?
one handing, even more difficult. One hands it, has a defender right in his face,
And
about to sack him, and he goes
all
as
the way
he's
back,
falling, throws
fade
it
away,
No.
like a fade away, all the way down, and then
for like 20. The guy catches it, then Yak was like another 12, 15 yards. It was like
Really?
a 30-yard net play.
Yes.
And it almost blew up in their face, like -6. So it was a cool
That's
play.
crazy.
That's the
That was a really good game as well.
And the second point is this rule of the 2 minutes. Doesn't it make the game a little bit more subjective? We wanted rules to make it as objective as possible.
Oh, so that is the reason why they came up with the rule, because people argue over everything in the last 2 minutes. So every scoring play, like any touchdown throughout the entirety of the game now, it could be the first play of the game, automatically is reviewed upstairs and by those people. Now, they took it out of the hands of the refs on field because of
so
that.
it's the opposite of what I'm saying. Okay.
And in the final 2 minutes, because everything is so crucial, those little things they review upstairs. Now that they don't review every penalty, they review like a catch. Did his foot land in bounds before stepping out? Did he maintain possession through the end zone? Crucial. If a ref sees something on the field and throws a flag, you can't challenge that.
Right.
And even if it's not in the last 2 minutes, and if a coach throws his challenge flag, that's a penalty. Because you can't challenge a ref's call on a penalty. Now, if a ref, it's weird, you know? Like, let's say you didn't pick up the first down and you thought you did. You could throw your challenge flag. I don't think you can challenge penalties. Like, if a ref calls a penalty and throws a flag, you can't challenge that.
You can't.
And that's where it becomes at the mercy of the ref. Even in the final 2 minutes, they see a penalty, they'll throw a flag. Upstairs, they don't review those.
Okay.
And it's not that it's never happened either. There have been a few times where it's a controversial call, they throw a flag, and for some reason they go and pick it up, and they say there's no penalty on the play. That has happened.
Yeah.
Just doesn't.
But I think,
and that pisses people off too.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of the game.
There's no right or wrong.
It's a human error. There's so many human fallacies to the game that even if you got rid of the human factor and just had computers to automatize it or automatize everything, you're gonna have penalties, flags going
every
left
play,
and right and stuff every play. So you got to pick and choose, pick your battles.
It's a lot of impact. So
it does have a lot of impact, and I mean, you can see this one. It's like it was the wrong call to begin with. That they probably would have won the game, but got called the opposite way, and then they went out and did this.
So in the end, they lost anyway.
And they ended up losing anyway. So I mean, there are cases where it's the
Should've
exact
won.
opposite, and they should have won. They, this whole thing, could have played out differently. But I mean, it's part of life. That's the human nature of it.
While
Literally
Dylan,
a search.
while,
So many
while
people search
Dylan
it.
is looking for that, we haven't talked about the elephant in the room. How about the college football? And then
Not ready to talk about it.
I think UT,
Sorry,
the
well,
Longhorns
No,
lost.
we gotta do our picks of the week.
I'm from Washington, so
No, I have it pulled up already whenever I know. So I'm not ready to talk about it, guys.
How about the Jets? I think we haven't picked the.
You know what sucks too is the same thing. You go back and watch that. If Quinn Ewers and everybody, if he just
Oh.
throws a bullet,
yeah,
that's game.
I know.
But also,
It's such a great game.
I would say he didn't. They shouldn't have put 1 second back on the clock anyway.
I don't
so
think
the game
so.
was over.
Yeah.
The
I
game
think
was over.
I think you skipped one.
Washington definitely.
Over there, Jets and the
Patriots.
Patriots. We haven't chosen.
Washington deserved to win that game,
Yeah.
and
It's a good game.
Yeah.
Penix Jr. dude, if he deserves to go first round, man.
I
He's
hope-
really
I
good.
hope Seattle just tanks so that they can pick him up. Wouldn't that be such a cool
That'd
thing?
be- I was trying to watch the highlights, and it's hard because your team's losing on tape, so it's like hard to watch. But every time he's like throwing it, it's just dropping in a bucket.
Perfect.
But they have the opportunity
to
to
do
win
that-
the game, right? The Longhorns had the
Huh?
opportunity to win the game.
They
Right?
could have.
They could
yeah.
have, right? The last.
They just couldn't.
Yeah.
Everybody has the potential,
Yeah.
but they
I
couldn't.
watched the last minutes. It was I think 37, 31.
We'll put that on the screen.
I almost turned the game off, but
Oh, there we go.
I'm glad I kept watching because it stayed competitive. But tough loss, but that's what it is. Jets at Patriots.
Give me Jets.
Jets.
This game doesn't matter. Patriots probably want to lose this
Yeah,
game because
that's
it
why
helps
I'm
them in
picking
the
on that.
draft.
Yeah.
I usually pick up
same
home
with
winners,
Jets,
but
though.
they want
Jets-
to play at home. But this one,
Jets want to lose 2 for the draft, though, because
Yeah.
I think the Patriots will win. Playing at home.
I don't know. I'm kind of leaning Patriots.
Patriots for me.
We're divided.
Jets. Yeah, Jets for me. Yeah, for sure.
Patriots.
All
You
right.
have your.
Yeah, just like they did in my own. Because I have to do it, man. Otherwise, no chance for me.
Atlanta Falcons,
Well,
New Orleans Saints.
Well,
Huh?
I hate
No,
the Saints.
it's like it's not really a competition. You know?
Playoff game.
No, it is, man. It is a competition. I mean, I play marbles. I want to win. I play the
I'm
marbles.
gonna be that guy, but I gotta go pee. I'll be right back. My picker is the Falcons.
You're going with the birds.
I'm going with the
Yeah.
birds too.
If the Birds don't win, they're out.
Yeah, I'm bird. Bird
Yeah,
support.
you
I
are.
think I have to support.
Although that logo is great.
I
I
gotta
like it.
support.
I like the Saints logo.
Yeah. The ones who marching in, right?
Land Rovers for me, my friend. Why I call Jaguars Land Rovers? Because the company is
Uh-huh.
called Jaguar Land Rover.
Oh, is it the same? Is it
and
the same company?
owner of the team of the Jaguars is British.
Ah,
And,
okay.
I
So-
call it Land Rovers because of that. So that's that.
I'll pick up the Titans.
That's the Teslas because it has a T. in it.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
by the way, a piece
Has-
of
It has no reference whatsoever to the company, but
one of
just
the
because of the T.
topics I would say that the Chinese company, the EV, China surpassed Tesla.
The BYD,
And,
the BYD, yeah.
yes, BYD, that's the one. Yeah, so that just surpassed Tesla
Right,
in the last quarter. Yeah,
they've been battling it out
Yes.
for the past few.
they call themselves now.
They
the
are
king
huge. Yeah,
of
they are.
EVs.
They're huge in Brazil, and Tesla, at the pricing point, is kind of expensive for the Brazilian market, for example.
I
So
did a.
the Chinese company will always.
And I'm sure
beacon
our
pricing point.
president is doing as much as possible to put Chinese.
But that
products
started. That
I did a
started back
project
then.
on that in my economics class at university.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you did.
Tesla and
Mhm.
BYD.
Oh, you
those
did?
two companies. Yeah, well, it was Tesla as a model company,
Mhm.
and I had to do like a full report on all of their like annual statements and income and blah blah blah. But then I had to find like comps, business comps, and competitors and whatnot. And that was the closest competitor at the time.
Did they-
Tesla was still edging them out then.
Yes. Did they start with high-end cars or popular cars of the BYD?
No, they
No.
have quite a lot of good features in them.
They had another line that was like a hybrid,
Right.
and so they got like a LeBron stat essentially. It was like the best rated mile per gallon car of that whatever blah blah blah.
Do they sell US?
No,
Of course not.
but the reason that they like lump sum all gas diesel powered vehicles and hybrids and EVs are together in
Right.
like the reports for automotive companies. So on paper then that company outsold Tesla if you don't look at only electric vehicles. If you look at just EVs, Tesla sold more. And then at that time, that quarter, Tesla had just produced the most amount of vehicles that they had ever produced in one quarter.
So we
So
coincide.
fast forward to now, clearly they've started ramping up their production as well. And they sold
and
sold more
selling around the
vehicles
world.
the last quarter. They
Quarters,
sold
yeah.
more than Tesla.
Yeah,
That's
quarter,
cool.
third
And
quarter.
that means they're growing like crazy, and
Yes.
then they just continued to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. But no, I doubt they'll sell them here. They won't sell them here.
No, right? Why? Right. Why would they? They have the whole, other
I mean,
markets.
they could, but some companies choose
They
not to
just
come to
choose
the
not to.
to the U.S. The market's too big and it's too competitive, and it's a lot of asks of the companies themselves.
Yes.
So even
And
though I think
I
the
think you have
American
to have,
market
like,
is not that
A presence here,
difficult,
too.
Yeah, but
I think
but
they're making enough money, and I feel like they've cornered the market that they have now. So they're cost effectively what it would take to get into America probably wouldn't make them.
and they know also
yeah,
they
but
need to be
California,
big.
everybody goes by the
To come in.
California
They need to be big.
rules kind of thing, and then
like emissions and stuff. You mean
yes, not emissions, but there's a lot of things, and then
compliances?
yeah, compliances, and they are the most strict state, and everybody just have to go based on that. So
Tags are tight.
Jags.
so we're going Jets.
Jaguars.
Oh, Jags. So Land Rovers.
Land
Got ourselves
Rovers.
a battle of the birds.
Oh, hold on. Battle of the. Do I need to run this thing for this game?
How dare you?
Oh man, it's Seahawks, of course.
Ah, man.
If Seahawks lose to Cardinals,
Seahawks have to win this game.
To even stay relevant about going into the playoffs,
But
but,
if
I
they-
don't think they're not going to make it, honestly.
no, but
I-
if they lose this game, and
Then they're out.
And then next year, we're gonna have a good talk, me and you.
Well, so, I mean, there are some things.
Russell Wilson back to the Seahawks.
I don't.
Dude, he's done in Denver.
Yeah.
They're getting rid of him.
Yeah. I don't think he'll. I'm sure he'll be the Commanders next, because Russell Wilson always wanted to go back. He's from Washington D.C. area,
What about
so
Patriots? Go up to New
Hey.
England if Belichick doesn't get fired.
Patriots could pick him up. Anyways, the Seahawks have a great offense
Amazing wide receiver core.
and running back. Their offensive line is shaping up to be really good. It's their defense that has been problematic.
You've mentioned that every single episode.
Yeah, I mean, it's just.
No, I'm not. No. This gay. Don't get me wrong with that. I'm just saying that's. He's telling the truth.
doubling down on you,
I know.
No, oh, man,
Every
you see
episode,
that?
Yeah.
George,
I'll pick
Bro,
your
huh?
opponent and I'll shit on your team the next
Oh
week.
my god, no!
you're lucky because Konrad sold all his guns.
Oh
So
my
you're
God.
lucky.
I still got one left. All right.
Yeah,
You still have one left? I thought that you exchanged that for the pipe.
No.
Man, I would pick up the Seahawks,
That's
but
the
after
tobacco.
everything you said,
How dare you, George? How dare you?
so are you still picking up the Seahawks?
Yeah, I'm still picking my Seahawks. Even though I really, there's a part of me that wants them to lose so that they can, if Penix Jr.
Draft him.
So back to college, he was the quarterback for University of Washington, which played against UT and beat them. And he's a phenomenal quarterback. Loves the area. He loves being up there in Washington, Seattle. That's where the college university is at. So it'd be kind of like a cool coming home story that he goes into the NFL draft and Seattle is able to pick him because they need a quarterback. Geno Smith, who's the current quarterback, is good.
Do they have any chance to pick up because they
Well,
won,
I mean,
won
if-
8? Yeah, so
I mean, if they,
it's going to be low probably
If-
in the draft, right?
yeah, so they'll be low.
Middle.
Yeah,
middle.
middle.
Well, they
middle to
could
lower
play
end.
the money card and then
I'm not.
buy.
Do y'all have any
first
picks
pick
from
or
last
something.
year that are higher? Or
I can't remember.
you can always
to be honest
trade
with
people
you.
for
Yes.
picks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
I
can
mean-
trade. For example, they could trade people for the first pick or something.
Did
like
the player have any
Right.
say on this?
No,
No.
The player? No. Does the
No.
player? No. The
just
players?
his contract.
Yes. Okay. No, all right.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
It is what it
It's
is.
business.
So, yeah, I mean, if Seattle
Business
loses, then they'll have a better chance of getting a higher draft pick next year in next year's draft, which is a higher chance of picking him up. But I feel like there's so much buzz around him, anyways, that he might be
He's gonna
going-
be on the first or
yeah,
second.
Up in the
yeah,
draft
he's
pick.
going to be up
Yeah,
in the draft pick.
pick.
So
He was a Heisman candidate.
Mm.
He didn't win, but I mean, maybe he should have.
I have. After that last game, I really like him. I think he's a heck of a player.
If they were
I think
able
he's
to
really
take those games and use them when they're voting, when it's time to actually vote for the Heisman, I think he would have won.
I think he
He
would've
looked
won.
so good in that game. It was a college semifinal game, so there's so much importance to it.
Yeah.
And he was able to keep his composure and not even just be a game manager. He dominated. He won them that game.
The game was at Washington.
It's in Houston.
Houston.
Oh, he was in
Houston Texans Stadium.
Right. Okay.
I'm also going to take the Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
gonna take the good birds.
Yes. Seahawks.
It's a sweep.
The
Yep.
sweep.
Okay, next game we have Chicago Bears
Bears and
and
Packers.
Green Bay Packers.
Packers.
Give me the Pack.
Bears.
Packers, they have to win to get a chance at going to the playoffs, and they want
Every
it
time.
so bad.
Every time, I don't know if you've noticed that, every time that I picked against Chicago, Chicago wins.
It's because they watch the podcast. And
Yeah.
It makes them really mad.
There was only one time
unbearable to
that
watch.
they won that I picked them, which was when I went to Chicago.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
They-
I'm taking the team
Did they
of
win
the
that
did
weekend? They won
Yeah.
That was their
weekend.
first. That was their first win of the year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going
actually-
with the people's team.
That's why we put the podcast out on Saturday to give them all a chance to watch it and really get their shit together before the
Yeah.
game starts.
So there's only one game that happens before the podcast.
So, Jordan Love, if you're watching, and we know that you are,
Hmm.
better win this fucking game.
Yeah.
You got George.
No, he
Bears?
said Chicago.
Yeah, the Bears. Yeah.
You're gonna go Bears?
He doesn't get a chance to change it.
He said Chicago.
There's no one
So-
second thought for
Yeah.
sure.
You can go second thought.
There's no. There's
And if I want it,
Kansas City
I'm a free
Chiefs.
spirit.
Yeah.
I'll go Chiefs. I'll go
Yeah.
Chiefs.
Chiefs. Yeah, definitely.
Chiefs sweep.
Yes.
Chiefs.
Chiefs sweep. All right, we got the
Broncos.
Denver Broncos
Give
at
me
the
the Broncos.
Raiders. Raiders were eliminated. They have nothing to play for.
Raiders.
I'm going with the suckers.
Broncos were eliminated.
My suckers, right?
Yeah,
Not
the
your
sucker,
suckers.
This game doesn't matter. Both teams eliminated. Doesn't matter.
So I go with the suckers.
All right.
Broncos. Broncos for George.
Still can't get behind the Broncos. Fuck them. I'm gonna go the Raiders.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you
Stick
picked
in
them
their
some,
guts,
you know.
man.
I'll go
Stick
Broncos.
with their guts.
Every now and again, you picked the Broncos.
Yeah, I have, but this week I'm not because
Okay.
fuck them.
I'm gonna pick them just because I think they're.
They suck, right?
Yeah, they're assholes.
Birds for me.
Birds for me too.
Birds.
I want an upset Giant.
I like
that
this
would be
George.
enough.
Hmm?
Yeah.
I like this George.
It's a better George this week, right?
This is a George that's down to have fun.
Yeah, right?
And if you go 16 for 16, how amazing does that feel? Because some of your picks are like, I think they're going to upset them. And when those hit, you're like,
Oh my
yeah!
god.
I knew it all along.
Those feel amazing. You got the Los Angeles Lakers at the San Francisco Niners.
Yes. Give me the Rams.
Um,
Yeah, they're another upset. Man,
it could be. I think.
You might actually
Are they both already?
No,
No, the Rams are
Rams
not.
are eliminated, I believe.
Yes.
No.
Not yet.
No, Rams are second place in the division. They're
They
No,
might get-
no. They're sixth.
yeah, second place in
So
our
they're
division,
guaranteed.
so sixth.
No, they're not necessarily guaranteed.
Well, if they're up there,
They could lose if.
clinch the playoff.
So if, but the thing is,
No. Yeah.
They play their lives, man.
if Seattle wins, the Rams lose, and then some other factors, the Rams could get out and Seattle can get in.
And why they're there?
Well, I don't know, because this does say there's no 4. So that means the NFC South hasn't been clinched. So that's probably going to be Tampa. But if it's not Tampa, if Tampa loses, then Saints, instead of hopping in at a number 7 slot, would take the number 4, which would put the Bucks at number 6 if they win the next. But that would probably drop the Rams to number 7. Because I think you are right. I think they did clinch it. They wouldn't be up here if they didn't clinch it already.
Yeah.
So they're guaranteed at least number
So
7.
both are guaranteed.
At
least number
But
7.
the difference is San Francisco is guaranteed number 1. They can't lose number 1. So which is home games the entire way.
Yeah.
So they
And
might
first round
they
bye.
might not, and a first round bye. So they don't even play the next week.
Is there any
They might
contract
not even
that force
play.
players to play
They
this
might
game?
not show up.
Not in the 18th.
No.
No, okay, all right.
There used to not even be an 18th week. But
Yeah.
no, there's more of an incentive to not, because you're more than likely just putting extra reps on them. Every extra rep is a potential to get hurt. And like you said, the next game, so first of all,
load management, man. Again,
they have a bye week. They don't even play. Everybody else is playing in the wild card round.
Yes.
They don't even play. And then the divisional round, the conference round, they're guaranteed home games. So
Yes.
it's a pretty easy road, kind of.
easier at least.
Easier.
It's a mindset thing.
Yes.
So
49ers for me.
sometimes those easier games become trap games, but
I don't know, man.
I'll go 49ers because I don't think the Rams will want to play because they're going to be playing on the road anyways. So
Yeah.
they're going to save their strength for the playoffs.
Yeah, and I hate the 49ers, so I'm going to go with the Rams.
Yes.
Yeah? There we go, George.
yeah, I don't know. I am going to take the Niners, but I don't know.
You know who I'm gonna pick in the next one, right?
Hopefully the Commanders.
The Commanders.
Go. Commanders. Not for
Have
me,
back in
though.
vocal.
I
right?
love that they benched Sam Howell, and then, like, the first drive they had to put him back in the game because the first guy got hurt.
Yeah.
Like, you try to scheme up a game for someone else, and it just doesn't happen.
No.
Poor Commanders, man.
Cowboys.
They're a division rival,
Cowboys.
and I'm rooting for them most of the time. I want them to do better, and they just
You've been picking the commies
all year.
every time.
I think it's only because Sam
And
Howell was my
why
fantasy
don't you
quarterback.
pick them right now?
Because if the Cowboys lose this game, we don't get the number 2 seed. So the Cowboys are going to play with a little bit of conviction.
Now, let me tell you, this next one here, I think the Dolphins need to win this one because they got fucked. No, they got fucked up in the previous.
Taking the Bills,
So I'm taking the Dolphins for this
pennies.
I'm taking the Bills.
Okay. Do you want me to give you a little bit of? You can change your. You're not going to change your pick, I know you. But you could if you wanted.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a little information. All right. I did a little bit before. This is a playoff game essentially. They are in the same division, AFC East. If the Bills lose this game, they're out. No playoffs, done. Off season, go play golf.
Is it a good team?
Great team. Their record doesn't even reflect that. They
Right. So the Dolphins really want them out.
The Bills, especially the way they've been playing the last few weeks, they're the Ravens, basically.
Yeah. But you understand what I'm saying?
If
'Cause
there
if I
was,
am the Dolphins,
Well, of course, they want them out.
I want them out. I don't because this is a contender.
And this is the
If I
difference.
can fuck them, I would do that before they become monsters.
If
Right.
the Dolphins lose, with help, if other teams lose, they still get in.
Yeah, no, I know.
But
I
if
know
the
that.
Bills lose,
They're out.
Yeah.
yeah.
there's no chance. So they're gonna play. They're gonna pull out, and this is gonna. There's no precedent for you guys for this year. It's the last week of the season. You are going to see outlandish football that you haven't seen yet. You're
I'm gonna
see,
watch it.
You're gonna see trick plays. You're gonna see stuff that doesn't normally happen.
Watch this game.
This game.
I'm
This
going
game.
to say, if you're going
Is
to
it
watch
prime
any
time?
of the game,
Yeah, it's gonna be on NBC or Peacock if you have Peacock. If not, I'll give you
I
a
have Peacock.
I'll give you a way to
Peacock.
watch it.
Of course, you have Peacock.
I have
Peacock has
Peacock Plus.
Premier. Yeah,
whatever it is.
yeah.
It'll be on there on NBC. I guarantee you Buffalo pulls out some sort of
Isn't
trick
Peacock
play.
a bird?
A peacock's a bird.
Of course, this is gonna
If-
have it, man.
If there was a second team for Dylan, it would be Buffaloes.
Yes.
The Bill
Well,
does.
Oh my!
Out of the
The
32,
Bills.
We discussed that last.
yeah.
last
Out of the
podcast,
32, it's 16 and 16. My Cowboys are on this 16, and the Bills are on this 16. And if I had to pick a team of the AFC,
And I'm
I've
s-
always liked the Bills since Josh Allen came. Before Josh Allen, the Bills were a very irrelevant team. They were like
The Browns.
like the Panthers or the Browns. Like the Panthers this season, they'd get like 4 wins. They look terrible all the time.
When they lost like 4 finals in a row.
No,
No, who lost five finals in a row? 4 finals in a row. There's a team.
Oh,
Well, the
that might have actually that probably was the Bills, back in
right?
back
So
in,
I
in
remember
the
that.
90s.
Yes.
in the
But
90s,
even now,
yes.
they've always gotten to the playoffs looking really great and then lost.
They used that all the books I
But
read
before
about
Josh Allen, they just weren't even good.
Yeah.
American football. All the books I read that mention American football.
Everybody
They always
loves
mention
To hate on
the
them.
4 rings that didn't go.
I'm gonna go against you. I'm gonna go Fins.
That's fine.
Dolphins.
Seattle could have won
Whatever.
two other Super Bowls too.
Who did they lose against?
The first one they lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Terrible officiating before they had to do all the replays and stuff. It was very rigged.
In the 2000s or 90s?
Yeah, 2000s.
2000s.
Who was it?
Seahawks versus Pittsburgh Steelers for the Super Bowl.
Oh,
Seahawks got fucked
Seahawks.
over in some really bad play calls. Even the ref, a lot of death threats afterwards. The ref even admitted he was like, "I messed a ton on that." And then the Seahawks versus Patriots. That was could have won 2. Could have won another. So
that's the infamous at the end of the game. They had Marshawn Lynch. They could have just ran for a touchdown, but they tried to get cheeky. They throw a little slant. Interception. Game's over.
Well, before we wrap it up, I'd like to know what was the impression of the cigars, because I want to talk about this cigar, because you're smoking down to the nub.
Yeah, same here.
And you said that yours got a little bit bitter?
Yeah, it was
I'm
sour.
Sour, okay.
Sour, actually.
but how was it overall throughout the whole smoke? Enjoyable from the beginning to a certain point?
I
or-
would expect more from a Plasencia.
Uh-huh.
You know, because I don't get all the flavors that you guys get. I just
Yeah,
gotta be more more like the way I feel it, with the memories it brings to me.
we get the same flavors. You just
Yes.
associate it maybe with something else.
Yes, and I don't know. I had higher expectations for a 92 from Cigar Aficionado. So I don't know. I've tried it 92s before, and I had a better experience. I don't know. It just was bitter for a long time. Maybe because my drink is sweet. For I think the whole second, third. Yeah,
Third.
it was bitter. Wasn't enjoyable.
What would you overall rate that cigar?
I don't
Smoking
know.
experience.
According to what I scored the other ones, I wouldn't give 90 to this. 88 to 87,
Okay.
86.
Yeah.
Because of my experience, but it maybe was just me.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That was me.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't playing footsie.
Dylan, you on the...
I
Brasilia.
would give the Brasilia a solid 92.
Wow.
Good.
I think before I might have had it at like a 94 when I first tried it. We've had a lot of cigars since then. I think it's kind of broadened our portfolio and palette. Our preferences haven't changed too much, and this is the same then as it is now. It's really good.
This one on the cold draw, I would say like 115. Dylan and I was like, he was putting
go
numbers
over
there.
it, yeah.
A little bit like off the charts. And I'm gonna tell you, it got like halfway through, like half of the cigar. It got a little bit like too common to normal, and then it started to get better and better and better. And it could be the aging process on this one. It's
I feel like that.
and right now it has a little bit of the metallic taste because of everything is concentrated. All the taste is concentrated on this little bit,
Yeah.
but it's still really, really nice. Good taste. So I would rank this one about 97.
Wow.
This aged
The goddamn champion right there.
really good, but again, this is down to the age of the cigar. The cigar is being aged. I don't know how long, because when we got the fridge, we got it with it, and then we noticed that it was already like crystallizing all those sugars, and it was really. So we want to say 5 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Wow. Yeah.
so really good for the first cigar of the year here in the podcast. Pretty good smoke. I don't think I could have picked a better cigar.
Wow.
Even though that I have some
Congrats.
Cubans in there, but probably I'm gonna wait up a little bit on the Cubans, just because this one has treated me.
Have
really
you ever
nicely.
rated anyone, any cigar at 100? Have you guys know?
No.
Like, wow.
I had a close one. It was like 97, 98, 96.
97 was your
Oliva, Connecticut.
Yeah.
Oliva, Connecticut. Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty good cigar.
I've smoked that twice now, and they've all been high 90s.
How do
Yeah.
you rate that against the pledge?
Man, the pledge I think
The
I
first
gave it a
smoke.
96.
Okay.
First smoke, you gave it 105.
Well, yes, but I didn't
okay,
really. I mean, I was on a different podcast, and
Yes.
I was drinking red wine, and this one I'm having whiskey.
Yes. That's true.
So it's a little bit different. This one, pretty good. I would say, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a 97.
If it is,
It's all right.
if it is between,
It's
if it is
alright.
92, it's
Yeah.
almost 100. Do you know what I mean? It's what difference can be? It can be like just a tiny little bit of like, this one I think I would
You're
edge
right.
a little bit.
It
I'll
does.
edge it out a little bit. So
80 to 92 is a much bigger jump than 92 to 100 is.
Yeah.
You know? I know
92 to 100 is still a good cigar, no matter
Yeah,
what.
come on.
no matter what.
No matter what.
88 is a really good cigar.
Yeah.
Usually, so 88 is still a respectable score.
Respectable. Yeah.
And if you think it's not, then whatever cigar you're smoking isn't an 88.
Right.
Because
And I
88
guess-
should be pleasant.
88 is a good cigar.
It's pleasant.
87 is a good cigar.
Yeah.
And I felt that
It might not be the best cigar you ever smoked, but it's a good cigar.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, for example, a factory smoke, the one that we normally buy to have like a daily smoke, we do 88, 89 on those cigars. Every time we smoke it, it's like, man, it's
A
still
bad
really good.
dry one would be like an 85, and
Yeah.
you wouldn't leave that smoke being like, oh, what a waste. You'd be like, could be better, but it's $1.75 a stick.
what's the score for a cigar? Like, I'm not gonna smoke this because it's not worth it.
It's
What
the
would
one
you
that I
say?
had.
It's in the 60s.
Like the 60s,
Yeah.
because you'd only stop smoking if it's in the 60s. You
Once it gets
I wanted to stop smoke that one that I had. And you smoked that one, right? And then you said it was 80, something like
the
that.
Confradia, yeah, I didn't hate it. I didn't think,
But you said like 82 or something.
yeah, it was like an 82.
So it's like if it's given to you, you smoke it, but
100%.
you never go and buy it.
I wouldn't buy
because,
it.
yeah, you
Yeah,
can buy
so-
88 cigars.
just
And that's how I feel about Gurkhas. I'm low 80s on Gurkhas.
I
haven't
I rather buy. We had
we had a
we
discussion
had
about
one good
this.
Gurkha, but I would rather have a factory smoke than a Gurkha.
Yep.
Yeah.
I rode
go and
that
buy?
wave for a while, where I kept trying to give Gurkha some flowers of like, oh, you know what? Everybody hates on them. Let's keep trying to find good ones. And I've done more research, and it's warranted. Gurkha is Gurkha,
Yeah.
and I will smoke a Gurkha if given one. I will never buy a Gurkha.
Yeah.
okay.
I agree.
I will never just buy a Gurkha.
I just asked you all this. Oh, there you go. Go all the way. I just asked you that because I want to see,
Well,
where you are.
where would you probably stop at?
Yeah, 'cause that's what I'm saying.
I think sub 60 would be like, oh, I don't even want that.
Well, so
Well, even if it's given,
my rating goes
If
like
you
this.
you trade
If
it
you
with
have
somebody.
the stick,
If given,
You'd say, "Oh, thank
I
you very
wouldn't-
much." You wouldn't say no, but you'd take it. And then if somebody wants to smoke with you, I have a good cigar for
or
you.
if
So
I
it's
have
like a
never
big-
heard of it and
it's
I
a
light
big
it up and
point
it's like a
system for
60,
me.
Well,
Okay.
yeah,
A stick,
we'll
like
just
a
set it
cigar,
down and
just
we'll
in
let it
general,
go out.
is
I'm
about
not
10
subjecting
points.
myself to that.
Yeah.
If it's
Right.
wrapped really
If
nicely
already
and presented,
know,
that's another 10
and then
points.
you'd give it away.
I have a point system. So
Okay.
normally, even before I start smoking, I'm already at like a 60 or a 70. Now, the experience of smoking, the smoke flavor,
Talk that
everything
in on this.
goes into that score. If it's a terrible smoke, like I'm just not enjoying this whatsoever, probably my bottom score would be 65, 60.
due to your criteria.
Yes, due to my criteria.
Which is an important tidbit because I think everybody's criteria is different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this
Which is why
I'm
A
asking.
cigar aficionado 92 might not be your 92.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Not all 92s.
I
are
think
the
I
same.
smoked
Right,
really
because
fast this one too.
Hilton,
So that
for example.
messes up with I think with
Oh,
the,
it could if you're smoking it a little faster. It's getting
too fast.
a little warm, a little
yeah,
hotter.
yeah.
than it should be.
So
when we
In
first,
the end, you have to do slower draws.
yes.
yeah, it's hard to try and when you're having a conversation and everything to keep up with it. But if
Yeah, I
you're
was
just
excited with the
focusing
conversation and
perfect cigar smoking, then yeah, you can do that.
How about-
but it's-
if it's too dry or
Oh yeah,
you
I've
know,
had
or too wet, like is the opposite is supposed to be what?
I find that
Humid.
being
Humid.
too humid,
Yeah.
leaning too dry for me is a little better than leaning too humid for
Okay.
me.
Right.
and I've had too humid where it was just unbearable. Like it's not.
You just get
that's-
very uneven burning and runoffs,
Yes, yeah.
and then when it's too dry, you also get uneven burning. But it's not because it's wicking in certain areas; it's just burning hard. But I think when it's dry too, if it's too dry, you start getting much more like harsh, bitter
Yeah.
notes.
You get bitter.
When it's more humid, it's less bitter, but then the experience sucks.
You gotta be correcting it all the time, and
Yeah.
When we first started scoring, we talked about that, like what the criteria, how
Okay.
the weight of what. So experience.
I'm gonna watch
versus-
this episode then.
I think we just talked about it in the warehouse, just smoking cigars. Where I was like, how much weight on your score are you giving the experience versus the flavor and the construction and everything? Because the construction plays into the experience. If it's unraveling and falling apart, your experience isn't as good. But the flavor could be up here. But the cigar is just not smoking very well. So how is it 80% on experience, 20%
Yes.
on flavor? Is it 50-50? What is it? And I found that for me, it was more flavor oriented and I was forgiving on the experience
having to correct it.
and correcting, and I chalked that up to malpractice. I maybe didn't have the cigar at the right humidity. Maybe I did.
Yes.
Let's
Right.
rule that
The
out at the very
variables,
least. Let's
right.
come back
There
to
are
this cigar
variables.
again. Let's let it sit in a humidor for 2 months and make sure we're really regulating that humidity.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have it. Then we'll try it again. So I kind of tried to make the human air aspect of it me, take it out, and just really focus on the flavor. And it was the opposite for you at the beginning, where it's like, yes, I agree with that, but the experience is the experience. And if I'm having a bad experience, I'm sorry, I can't give this cigar a 90. It was a shitty experience. And so we went back and forth on what's your mindset on that.
Well, Konrad and I at the beach, we had a Gurkha that transformed the taste of the lime margarita to an orange, and we loved it.
Yeah.
But
It
we were at the
was
beach, we were like
incredible.
drinking and like
It's like
doing
Picanha,
picanha, exactly.
12 o'clock at night, just been.
So we couldn't say anything bad about that cigar. It was great. So even like a average cigar, it could become a great smoke.
Yeah.
Depending on the environment,
Man.
the setting.
Yeah.
Because the
They say every
Gurkha
cigar
is not a
you
bad
taste
cigar.
better. That's what they say.
Oh.
The
Just
Gurkha-
because of the environment.
Yeah. No,
The Gurkha is
absolutely.
not a bad cigar. It's an average cigar. So
It's a
on
very
a
average.
pricing point, if they market it as a $25 cigar that they sell for $5, right?
Right.
So it's not really a $25 cigar. It's $5,
Yeah.
basically.
Well, then they'll sell them for $5, and they're on like a 50% sale, and they're like selling for $2.50 sometimes. Like
Yeah.
if they're making money at $2.50 and they're selling at $25, these things cost 20 cents.
Yeah, and then I would say, I would go with an honest cigar, like a factory smoke, and smoke that. So on the same beach, I took 10 factory smoke to the beach when you didn't go that time, but 1 month later, with a lot of other folks that we went there, and we smoked that cigar, and everybody's like, "Oh, this cigar is really good." It is, but it's the same level as the Gurkha. On an average, but it costs like $2 a stick, $1.75 if you
In
buy,
bulk.
in bulk.
Right.
So it's a really pleasant cigar.
It's $1.75 on the Toro size too. It might even be. I don't remember if it's
No, that was on a Robusto size. On a Toro size, a tiny little bit more.
It was. This is online wholesale too at Cigars International. It was $43.75 for 25,
Man,
Okay.
it all depends on
which is $1.75.
what you're
Yeah.
looking for,
that
right?
was from
Because if you're getting more for the bucks you're buying, like if you see that if you're buying a cigar that is a $10 cigar for $2.50, and you are in a budget, on a budget, I would go with that. It all depends on how much you can afford. But I have an analogy. I have a point to tell you guys. I like transferring knowledge from, something I learned in the past
to
the
something
cigar, yes. So first time I went to an IMAX. Do you remember the first time I went to an IMAX?
Yeah.
Yeah, massive
Right.
screen.
Okay, I went to Man of Steel. Shitty.
You didn't like that movie?
I loved the movie because I was like, oh, look at something happened over there. Look at that. Oh my God. So I was so distracted with other variables that I was just impressed with what I was watching. I watched it in a small TV,
At home or something.
and then I could have made a movie. It's so terrible. But I was, I had this, huh?
So I like that.
I know, like, yeah,
I just like Superman.
you don't talk about my
General
mom.
Zod.
You remember the don't talk about my mom,
Mhm.
yeah? So, you remember the punches?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there are some funny parts or some nice parts for someone who likes comics like me.
Yeah.
But
Overall, you can't objectively say it's
Was
a
it-
great movie.
it was just,
It wasn't
and
terrible.
the experience was overwhelming.
I can see that.
And I liked it. So sometimes I can have a cigar that is not that good, but the experience is amazing.
Sure.
My drink,
Yeah, he makes up for it.
I'm drinking some coffee, amazing coffee.
That's a good another
It's
analogy.
very easy to to get in
You-
a way, to get in your way. Like, oh yeah, this is a good cigar, but actually, it was the coffee
Right.
it was doing.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think you should let cost dictate experience, and especially if you can't afford a $20 cigar, that doesn't mean you shouldn't smoke cigars and get started at a factory smoke level. Do it. That's the same thing with me. I just got into espresso. I don't have $2,000 to buy all the espresso equipment, So you get like a little $150 espresso machine that's entry level as fuck, and you buy everything else that you can get, and that's what you do. And then as you start to develop a taste for it, you grow it. But it's the same. So
Tamir's just bought a Philips, which is like $780, and we went to the auction, and she bought it for $190.
well, there you go.
So she bought
Exactly.
it $780 for $190. Well, look, it's below par to everything we have. Our probably, if we compare a espresso machine with the pour overs and the quality coffee we have, we would have to be drinking a $5,000 espresso machine. Okay, so my point is, she likes it because she, like the machine does everything with the milk and all
Yeah,
the,
of course, it's like an
all
automatic,
the whistles
super automatic,
and-
they
yes.
call them. Mm-hmm.
But I don't drink because for me it's well inferior to pour overs.
That
So
we're
I-
already used to.
Huh?
That comparing to the other setup that you're used to.
Yeah, so I would definitely spend 5 to 7 minutes in a pour over,
Sure.
then a minute or
Espresso
two, because
machine.
you have to do it everything. It's gonna take 2 minutes. Warming up, whatever. And then the way I make it, I would almost always prefer what I can extract from my pour over rather than a machine.
Yeah.
So that's me with
Well,
coffee.
Earlier you were saying like hobbies have to be expensive and blah blah. I know a little bit of that's a joke, but I just think that sometimes when you're really into something and the cost is super over, it's very deflating. You really get into coffee, you want to make espresso, like, oh, I got to buy a $5,000 machine just for it to be good. It makes you not want to do it anymore,
Yes.
But that doesn't mean you shouldn't. If
exactly.
you want to learn a new language, you don't have to learn the entire language
No.
before you ever speak that new language to somebody,
Perfect.
because you're learning it. I don't know the language, but I can still attempt to try to learn
Mhm.
and speak Portuguese with you, not knowing Portuguese. I can attempt to learn espresso with a super cheap system, and you can get into cigar smoking with the factory smokes. You don't have to buy a $25 Padron.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes the cost is deflating and it overwhelms people and it takes them out of it. And I don't think that should be the barrier of entry to anything.
I got into cigar with a 60-cent cigar.
Yes, and what you said
Yeah.
is so true.
There you
Because,
go.
yeah, because you see that you
You have to try.
you don't smoke. Then you go there, spend $30 because you can't, just like a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
You sell a bottle of wine. It's like, can you really, guys, make a difference between $100 and $150 bottle? Do you think you can make? Oh, clearly the 150 is so much better than 100.
Hilton's
I've
over there, like, yeah.
I've been drinking wine for such
But
a
you
long
won't.
time. that
I'm
I
sorry,
can't.
but man,
Yeah.
if you do a blind test,
Mhm.
I'm sure
We should do a blind
for
test.
100
We
to
should do a blind
150,
test.
from
I don't know,
50
yeah.
to
Because you know
70.
why? You know why?
Mm.
is because I've never bought a $150 bottle
Okay.
of wine.
Okay.
So I think, again, it's the same reason he
Experience.
started with a 60-cent cigar, and then
Mhm.
we've developed to where we're at now is the palate.
Yes.
So if you have trailer park trash palate, you're not going to like a $1,000 bottle of
No,
wine.
no.
You're going to like Cheese Whiz.
Yes.
You don't want real nice cheese even because it's your palate. So as you kind of expand your palate and get into stuff, you might find that you can taste the difference between 150 and 100. I personally would not probably be able to taste the difference. And I've watched videos of this, like sommeliers doing taste testing blind, and a lot of the times people like $20 bottles of wine.
Yeah.
$5 bottles of wine sometimes are
Trader
better
Joe's.
than a
Yeah.
$40 bottle of wine.
For
Yes.
example, when,
Cost doesn't dictate everything,
No.
yeah,
It
there
is
are
an
times
important variable.
but it's
It
not
is an
everything.
important variable.
the whiskey guys
100%.
here in Austin, these whiskey guys here in Austin that I watched an episode
Kirby,
with Kirby.
That's the whiskey
Um,
room, I think.
It was it's whiskey something, yeah. The one that I said that I wasn't gonna post their channel because I didn't bother to go and look at it. But one of their best whiskey was like a $45 bottle of whiskey. Because this is something that you can drink every day. So in wine, I remember back in Brazil when the wine bottles, like your good wine that you could still impress a girl, right? Instead of doing the 8 Brazilian reals, which is like a $3, bottle of wine, wine.
So it's the good stuff.
Yeah. So it's just a little bit, just tiny little bit, like 20 reals. So like a $5, that's what we would drink on a daily basis with my dad, because we used to drink one bottle every single day. Like me and my dad. My dad was living with me in my house, but every now and again we used to go to my uncle's house and then have wine in there, and it's like, oh, this wine is something else. And then
You
we go
could
like,
notice the
oh
difference.
yeah. And I was like, what is that? And that's this wine. And then I would go online and then and find the price and then go and buy, and then it would be like a 95
Real.
in reals. And then
4.5 times, more than 4.5 times expensive.
yeah,
Okay.
and then
It's
I
a
would
huge
go
jump.
and try and find, and then I would go to some of the places like a farmer's market kind of thing in Brazil, and find the same wine like direct from the importer and whatnot, and it would cost like 70. And then I would buy some, and I'll buy some, and I'll give it to my dad, give it to my uncle, because it's the wine that he liked. It was a Malbec. And then it's like I would give. It's very fruity, but and I would give it away. But you could still, taste the difference. And we had more expensive bottles, and I could always tell. That way the price might tell a little bit of difference just because of the age and the way it's being stored. There's a lot of factors. If you buy a very expensive bottle but you don't store it the right way, it's not gonna get the same performance as the same as
Cigars.
if you buy cigars and are like, oh,
Coffee
Cuban
cigars.
cigars are supposed to be the
There's
best.
a lot of parallels.
Yeah, and then
Romex.
if you
Coffee
don't have
beans.
the right,
Romex.
if you don't have the right humidity, if you don't store that thing the same way, it's not gonna be a good smoke. Even if it is a Cuban cigar or if it is on BP Carrillos, just because it's not being kept proper.
Yeah.
So you can tell the difference if it's being well kept. Some wines cannot change up because they're already cheap. It doesn't really age well inside of the glass bottle. And some wines, you just keep
Probably
them.
didn't age that much in the barrel. It's still young in the glass.
Yeah, it's too
not gonna
young.
age that much.
It's not gonna give you all of the boldness of the taste when you're drinking it. So I've been drinking wine for a long time. So I but the wine that I normally buy, to drink on a daily basis, I drink like a glass of wine every single day. It's those box wine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I don't need to spend a lot of money on wine. The same way as I'm talking about the cigars, like a $2 cigar that it tastes well. You buy it cheap. For your daily smoke. We are not even smoking daily anymore. Now we had a moment in time that was like smoking daily, but now we don't
Isn't that
anymore.
awesome?
We could.
Yeah, we
But
could, but
interesting.
it doesn't make too much of a sense. It's like, okay, so I can wait and smoke like 3 cigars a week. That's what we normally do nowadays.
I was discussing the same similar topic regarding champagne and sparkling wine, and then I was just seeing from where it goes. How much is that? What is the name of that? The dough, right? Dough, which is very sweet.
Yeah.
And that has 50 grams of sugar added to that. 50 grams of sugar.
Mhm.
You're eating a candy.
Yeah.
It's a candy.
That's a soda. Sparkling soda.
If you goes, like you goes with a dessert or something like that, I don't. I wouldn't. And then I was used to brut. Look, I was used to brut.
Yeah.
And I
that's
thought,
what I was
wow.
looking at.
But no. But look at that. There are two levels.
Extra
Above
brute
that?
and brute nature.
Exactly. I've never tried brut nature.
I've never even seen a brute nature before.
It's zero sugar, right? Zero.
But
without
that is
sugar, no
sparkling.
sugar.
Yeah, that's a sparkling.
Yeah, but
It's
I'm
not
just
on a-
saying. I'm just saying that
Really a proper wine.
Oh my god! Oh, it's not. It's champagne.
Yeah.
In this case, it says. He says here. This is the word for sparkling wine, not champagne. It's too much.
It's too much.
Yeah, with this foam.
This is
Yeah.
like backwards.
Was that?
How dare you?
Was
How
that?
dare you? He said it's like
It's an
backwoods.
inside joke in here. So.
Which
Don't.
is-
Backwoods, the cigar.
Oh,
He
Oh,
doesn't
okay.
I like
It's a-
them. He doesn't like
Uh-huh,
them. They don't.
yeah.
They shit on it all.
Hey,
the time.
what do you
They're a
mean
bunch
we
of-
don't like? I mean, I'm
Dylan
alright.
doesn't like it. You like it.
Yeah.
because
That's the butt of the joke.
I like. I used to drink. So when I drank, I used to drink red wine, but I like it light. I like it Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
I like Pinot Noir. You know,
Pinot
I'm
Noir is
Pinot
good.
Noir. Huh? I don't
It's
go.
good.
I mean, I used to drink also Cabernet Sauvignon and all this Syrah, right? So
I like the Seahawks.
I would.
But
go-
it's an acquired
Syrah.
taste. Yeah, you do like it. You
like-
gotta develop. It's the same way as the coffee, and the same way as the
Yeah.
cigar. You develop it a little bit. You know, you're trying a few things, and you go like, okay, so my taste goes that way. So, for example, the Pledge, and then like these, La Roma de Cuba here, right? So it's all about you go about it, like trying things out, and like I remember that, thing that I drank, or that cigar that I smoked. But you can have that, a little bit more expensive. You can have like a really like, for example, we were talking about it today. Like we never really smoked like a $55 cigar to
No.
get. But I'm sure that if we purchase a $55, $50, $60 cigar that has been well kept and maintained and smoke it, we are gonna notice the difference.
Yeah.
Because it's all about how the cigar was made, and it's more expensive because it has had, apart from Gurkha, that they put the price and sell at a different price, right? They say, I have $1 million cigar. Do they manufacture the cigar? No, they don't. They made one. They say it's $1 million, but it's in a vault somewhere, right? Nobody ever bought that cigar, right? But it's not like Gurkha, that's just a marketing company. It's not a cigar company, right? But if you go, let's say, with a Fuente or with an EP Carrillo, right? If you go to some of those cigars that they say, like, this cigar is $50. It's $50 because the cost of it was $25 or $30.
Right.
Because it took that long. It occupied warehousing space. They did all the aging process before they rolled, and then it's a small production from a specific harvest. So there's a lot of things that goes behind that cost. Something that is rolled on a daily basis or something like that, is like a running line. It will be cheaper.
Yes. That's why I think the reason we haven't tried one is because we've kind of found and become comfortable in a little sweet spot.
Yeah.
Because I think the jump from a Gurkha to a Fuente or a Carrillo is pretty significant, and the jump from that to the $60 one isn't going to be the same jump. It's probably half that
My
jump.
whole point
So it's going to
about
be
the wine bottles.
You will taste the difference. It's a subtle, nuanced difference. It's a nice treat. If someone gifted it to you, you'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna smoke that on New Year's. I'm gonna smoke that at my kid's baptism, or
And
something
man,
special." You're gonna make it worthwhile.
Does my
But
pocket?
you're not gonna go out and buy
Does
it.
my pocket allow it?
You're gonna go from this to
Does my
this.
pocket allow it to do
Oh,
that?
man.
This was a jump
Right,
from this
but I,
on
He's
the
saying that.
$10.
Yeah, George is saying that. For example, if let's say buying a $1,000 box of 25 cigars, right, is something that you afford because $1,000 is the same as us having 40.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? And then you buy a $1,000 to smoke on a daily basis, right?
Sure.
Or even a special occasion. If you go like, okay, so let's say $1,000 a special occasion, and then for us it would be like the pledge on a $200 box, and then so that's a special occasion. So it's 5 times cheaper in our pocket size than what we
So-
can afford.
What's
So
the
it's different.
perception here? For me, it's about perception. I'm gonna compare that to coffee, right? So I have to be creative to drink. I drink about 3 cups a day, because it takes time. So how do I manage to have the best coffee I can afford, every day? Of course, you gotta be creative. Choose the Coffee National Day, Coffee International Day, and then you buy a decent amount of that. And then you buy in bulk, so you get 2 types of discounts. And then I will have let's say, a $100 coffee, pound per pound for, I don't know, $40. I will buy it. I will do it.
yeah.
But because $40 seems honest, because I know how the coffee is made, I know everything that everyone involved in the chain has made the effort to do that, because it makes a difference for me. Now, I don't know if I would do that with pasta. I don't know if I would do that with other
Coffee
ingredients.
is important for you. Yeah.
Exactly, it's all about that.
We're discussing relativity.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's Einstein again. What? Relativity.
Well, I want to say, Konrad, do you want to take us out,
I'm smarter than the average Texan.
Yeah.
please?
Let's get out of here, gentlemen. Another great podcast. Thank you very much for sticking through, listening to us and all of our topics today. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Enjoy these videos. Throw us some ideas in the comment section. Let us know what you thought about the topics, the news topics that we talked about. Our football picks. Still think I came in pretty close last week, but I'm not going to go in there.
Don't know the numbers?
No, it's okay. I know the numbers are all here. They're all highs. They're all high numbers.
Subscribe is free.
It's all relative.
It's all
Subscribe.
relative.
Hit
Exactly.
that subscribe button.
Hit it.
All right.
I dare you. I dare you. No, thank you
Happy
very
New
much.
Year's.
Happy New Year's.
Yes.
Bye, everyone.